Chosen one, stop. Before this message slides past you into the noise of your afternoon, I need you to know that the schedule I am about to describe was not written this week, it was not written this year, and it was not written by me. April 24, 25, and 26 were marked, not as a prediction, but as an appointment, inside a book that was closed long before you arrived on this earth and held shut until the exact hour your name needed to appear on the page. That hour is now. The reason your prayer has been echoing is not because heaven stopped listening. Heaven was synchronizing. The silence you have been walking through was a corridor, not a dead end, and at the end of the corridor is a threshold split into 3 specific days, and you are closer to it than you can see. I am not asking you to believe me. I am asking you to stay. Stay through the next message, because what is about to move toward you has been waiting longer for you than you have been waiting for it. That is the real red alert. Now breathe. I know that opening was heavy. It was supposed to be, because what I have to walk you through in the hours ahead is not something I can deliver in a hurry, and it is not something your spirit can absorb on a scroll. So before I go any further, I want you to understand exactly what this message is going to do for you and why I need you to stay all the way to the end. This is not a motivational speech. This is not a prediction video. I did not wake up this morning and decide to put words together. Something has been building inside me for the last several days that would not leave me alone, and every time I tried to set it down, the weight of it would come back stronger, until I realized it was never meant to stay with me. It was meant to travel through me and reach you. That is why this message exists, not because I wanted to make it, because I could not make it. And the reason this message is about 3 specific days, April 24, April 25, and April 26, is because those 3 dates keep rising in my spirit, the way a name rises when you are about to meet the person who carries it. I cannot explain that to you in a scientific way. I am not going to try. What I can do is walk you through what I believe God is doing across those 3 days, why He chose these particular days, what He has been preparing inside you for years so you could arrive at them ready, and what you need to do in the hours before and during them to make sure you do not walk past what was scheduled for you. One quick note before I continue. Everything I am about to share in the next few hours is free. There is nothing you have to pay for to receive the word I was sent to carry. If at any point during this message your spirit tells you there is more that you need, a link in the description below and the pinned comment is there. Only open it if you feel led. There is no pressure from me. Known. Now, I want to stop for a moment and address you directly, because I know exactly who is listening to this right now. I know because the message was built for you specifically, so let me name you. If you are the kind of chosen one who has been waiting on a promise for so long that you are starting to wonder if you misheard it in the first place, if the years keep stacking and the silence keeps deepening, and every time you think the breakthrough is near, the door closes again, and the calendar turns, and you are still standing in the same spot you were standing in 2, 3, 5 years ago, this message is for you. I see you. God sees you. Stay with me. If you are the kind of chosen one who has been praying into what feels like an empty sky, who has been whispering the same petition so many times that the words have started to feel hollow in your own mouth, who has begun to wonder if God has simply chosen to remain silent on this particular matter in your life, this message is for you. I see you. God sees you. Stay with me. If you are the kind of chosen one who has been watching other people with less hunger, less discipline, less devotion than you, Step into the life you have been whispering about in secret for a decade, and you have smiled at their celebrations while wondering quietly why the same God who moved for them seems to have overlooked you. This message is for you. I see you. God sees you. Stay with me. If you are the kind of chosen one who has begun to doubt that the promise was ever real, who has started to wonder if the thing you felt deep in your spirit all those years ago was just a wish you dressed up as a calling, and you are tired of holding on to a vision that refuses to come into the world, this message is for you. I see you. God sees you. Stay with me. And if you are the kind of chosen one who is exhausted, who is running on the last reserves of faith you have, who keeps showing up to the altar and the prayer closet and the journal and the quiet morning hours anyway, even when nothing in you wants to, even when everything in you is pleading for a reason to believe the waiting was worth something, this message is for you most of all, because you are closer than anyone else listening right now. And the reason you are exhausted is because you are nearly there. Now listen to me, because I want you to know exactly what you are going to walk away with if you stay with me through the hours ahead. I am going to tell you plainly. I am not going to hype it, and I am not going to exaggerate. I am just going to tell you the truth about what this message contains. By the time this message closes, you will understand exactly what I believe God has scheduled into April 24, April 25, and April 26, and why these 3 specific days carry a weight the rest of the month does not carry. You will know the 5 recognition signs that confirm you are the one these days were written for, and you will be able to identify them in your life inside the next 48 hours. You will learn an ancient Hebrew word that, once you hear it, will change how you read every scripture that mentions a set time or a season. You will walk through 5 identity pictures that tell you who you actually are in this window and why the weight you have been carrying for years was not punishment, but preparation. You will receive a practical framework for how to position yourself across these 72 hours so that what is meant to arrive in them does not pass you by. And at the very end of this message, before I close, I am going to speak a declaration over your life that I believe the Father asked me to deliver in person. If you receive nothing else, receive that. It is the reason the message exists. So stay with me all the way to the end. Now, I want you to imagine something with me. I want you to imagine that you are standing outside on a morning in early April, the kind of morning where the air is still cold enough to cut through your jacket and the ground is still hard from the last frost. And everything you can see with your eyes tells you the world is dead. The trees are bare. The fields are brown. The garden is empty. There is no color anywhere. And if you had never lived through a spring in your life, if this was the only scene you had ever been shown, you would be convinced that this is how the world ends, that the cold has won, that nothing is coming. But you know better, because you have lived long enough to remember that the earth has done this before. You have lived long enough to know that what looks dead on the surface is almost never dead underneath. You have lived long enough to understand that underneath the frozen ground, at the exact moment the world above appears most lifeless, the roots are moving, the seeds are breaking open, and the architecture of spring is being built, silently, invisibly, in places the eye was never meant to see. That is where you are right now, chosen one. That is exactly where you are. You are standing in April, and it is April in your spirit. And I know it does not feel like the season is turning. I know the surface of your life still looks like winter. I know there is no visible evidence yet. But the reason I am telling you about April 24, 25, and 26 is because those are the dates I believe the ground breaks. Those are the dates the first green pushes through. Those are the dates the world above you begins to catch up with the work that was already completed underneath. So do not be fooled by how things look. The earth remembers, and your spirit, which is closer to the earth than you think, is remembering too. Now we have to go backward before we can go forward. We have to honor the winter before we can welcome the spring. Because if I walk you into April 24 without first walking you through the years that prepared you for it, the day itself will not mean what it is supposed to mean. It will just be a date on a calendar. And this message is not about a date on a calendar. This message is about what that date contains, and the weight of what it contains cannot be understood unless we first acknowledge what you have been carrying to get here. So, I want to take you back. Not all the way back, just back to the threshold of your last real winter. The season you entered that you did not know the length of. The season you went into thinking it would last a few months, and that is still unfolding now. That season, let us honor it. For years, you have been waiting. Not the surface kind of waiting that people talk about casually, like waiting for a package or waiting for a weekend. The deep kind. The kind that puts its hand on the back of your neck and does not let go. The kind that wakes you up at 3 in the morning and keeps you staring at the ceiling until the first light shows through the window. That kind of waiting. For years you have been praying, not the polite kind of praying, the kind that goes into a formal list, the honest kind, the kind that broke down into sentences that barely made grammatical sense because your soul was too tired to organize itself into proper language. The kind where all you could do was say the name of God over and over because you did not have the strength to ask for anything else. That kind of praying. For years you have been showing up, not the performative kind of showing up, where you do it because someone is watching. The private kind, the kind where nobody knows, the kind where you kept returning to the same altar, the same journal, the same early morning hour, even when nothing in you wanted to, even when the last session had ended in tears, even when you had no reason to believe tonight would be any different than the 200 nights before it. That kind of showing up. And for years you have been trusting, even when you had no idea what you were trusting in anymore. You were trusting a voice you heard once, a long time ago. In a moment you can no longer reconstruct in detail. You were trusting a whisper that told you your life was going to amount to something you could not yet see. You were trusting because you did not know how to stop. And sometimes, when you were honest with yourself, you wondered if the trusting was the only thing holding you together. I am telling you all of this because I want you to understand that I am not speaking to you generically. I am speaking to the specific version of you that has done all of that. The version of you who has miles of silent hallway behind her. The version of you who has walked through rooms that emptied out one by one until he was the only one left at the altar. The version of you who has given so much of her strength to keeping a hope alive that she forgot what it felt like to rest. That is the person I am speaking to. And what I want to say to that person, before anything else, before I show you a single calendar date or teach you a single Hebrew word or reveal a single sign, is this. Your waiting was not wasted. I need you to hear me. Your waiting was not wasted. Everything that happened in those years that looked like nothing happening, happened. There was a work being done in you, on you, through you, that could not be done any other way. And it could not be rushed, and it could not be substituted, and it could not be delivered on a shorter timeline. You went through exactly what you went through for exactly as long as you went through it, because exactly that was required. Now hold that, because I want to show you how this pattern has played before, because you are not the first chosen one to walk through a long silence and then arrive, without warning, at a window where everything you prayed about begins to come into view. There is a woman in the scriptures I want to tell you about, and her name is Esther. You probably know her name already. What you may not know is how carefully her story maps onto what is happening in your life right now. So, let me walk you through it slowly, because the parallels are going to stun you if you let them. Esther was an orphan. The details of her early years are brief, but they are not small. She lost her parents. She was raised by a cousin, Mordecai, who took her in not because anyone told him to, but because that is what love does when nobody is watching. For a long part of her early life, she was a girl with no visible future, living in a foreign land, carrying a heritage she could not display in public, surrounded by a culture that had no particular interest in her. Then, without warning, she was taken. Not taken in a cruel way, though what happened to her was not kind. The king of Persia needed a new queen. The old one had been dismissed. A decree went out across the empire to gather the young women into the palace so the king could choose. Esther was not consulted. Esther did not apply. Esther was simply gathered up with every other eligible young woman and delivered to a place she had no relationship with. Now pause right there, because I want you to notice something about the beginning of her story. Esther did not arrive at her assignment through a door she planned to walk through. She arrived through a corridor she never chose. Some of you need to hear that right now. The corridor you have been in was not a corridor you chose. You did not wake up one morning and request the last 5 years. You were gathered up by circumstances you did not invite. You were delivered to a season you did not apply for, and the room you ended up in was not the room you were aiming at. That does not disqualify you. That is precisely how Esther began. Once she arrived in the palace, there was a year of preparation, a full year, 12 months. Do you understand what that means? A year of oils, a year of perfumes, a year of treatments, a year of teachings, a year in which she was being shaped for a moment that had not yet arrived and would not arrive for a while. She did not know, during that year, what specifically she was being prepared for. She did not know she would one day stand in a throne room and speak a single sentence that would save an entire nation. She could not have known, because the assignment that eventually called for everything she had been prepared to offer had not yet surfaced. And I want you to see yourself in that year. I want you to see your last several years in that year, because the work that was being done in Esther during those 12 months felt, to her, like maintenance, like appearance, like politics, like surviving a system that had pulled her in. She did not know she was being prepared to carry the weight of a nation. She just knew she was going through something she had not chosen, and she was being refined inside it. Then the moment came. A decree was issued that would have destroyed her people. Her cousin got the news to her. He sent her the line that has echoed across 3,000 years since. He said to her, "Who knows if you have not come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" For such a time as this. That sentence, that single sentence, that is the sentence I believe heaven is speaking over your life this week. For such a time as this. The years that you did not understand, the preparation that you did not choose, the placement in a room you did not select, the identity you carry that nobody recognized. All of it has been pointing at one particular moment, and the moment has a calendar date on it, and the date is approaching. Now here is what I want you to notice about what Esther did next. Before she acted, she fasted. Before she walked into the throne room, she withdrew. She said to Mordecai, "Gather the people, tell them to fast with me. No food, no water. 3 days and 3 nights. 3. Listen to me carefully. Esther did not walk into her defining moment on day 1. She walked into it on day 4. Days 1, 2, and 3 were the preparation window. Days 1, 2, and 3 were the threshold. Days 1, 2, and 3 were the hinge on which the rest of her life turned. And the number is not an accident. The number is a pattern. The same pattern returns in Jonah, who spent 3 days in the belly of the fish before being launched into the city he had been sent to. The same pattern returns in the tomb, where 3 days passed between an execution and a resurrection that rewrote what was possible for every human being who came after. 3 days, again and again. When God is about to move someone from one phase of their life into another, the hinge is often 3 days. And now, sitting in the middle of this April, you are being shown a 3-day window. April 24, April 25, April 26. And I do not think it is a coincidence. I think it is a continuation. I think the same God who patterned the scriptures with 3-day hinges is about to place a 3-day hinge in the middle of your story. But before I can show you what happens on April 24, 25, and 26, I need to walk you through something else first. I need to walk you through the interior work that has been happening inside you, in secret, across the last several years. Because if you do not understand what has been forming under the surface of your life, the 3 days will arrive and you will miss what they are for. You will see the doors opening and you will not recognize them as the doors you have been praying for. And I refuse to let that happen. Not to you, not to the one who walked through everything you walked through to get here. So stay with me. What comes next is the part that changes everything. Because there are 2 things that have been happening inside you that you did not have language for, and I am about to give you the language. Welcome back, chosen one. Before we continue, let me close the loop I opened at the end of the last section, because I said I would give you language for what has been forming inside you, and I meant it. Do you remember that I told you, right before we paused, that 2 specific things have been happening inside you in the last several years, and that you did not have the words for either of them? Here is the first thing. Something was being dismantled. And here is the second thing. Something was being built. Both were happening at the same time, and neither of them was visible. And the reason you felt so strange during those years, the reason you kept telling people you did not know what was happening to you, the reason nothing you used to enjoy seemed to bring you the same satisfaction anymore, is because you were standing in the middle of simultaneous demolition and construction, and your soul was trying to survive both at once. Now, I want to walk you through exactly what was being dismantled, and exactly what was being built, and exactly why it had to happen this way. Because there are 3 purposes your wilderness was serving, and if you do not understand them, you will keep grieving them instead of thanking them. Let me show you the first one. The first thing the wilderness was doing in you was stripping away a false identity that would not have survived what is coming next. I know that sentence is big. Sit with it for a second. Sit with it, because it is going to explain years of your life. For most of your early decades, you were carrying an identity that was assembled for you by other people. Some of it came from your family of origin. Some of it came from the church, or the culture, or the community you grew up inside. Some of it came from the story your ego built to protect you in the environments where you were not safe to be fully yourself. All of those sources contributed to a version of you that was functional, that could walk through the world, that could hold a job and raise a family and show up at gatherings, but was not the real you. It was a version of you, a scaffolding, a temporary structure you were wearing while the real one was being made. And here is what you need to understand. The real version of you, the one God actually made, the one carrying the assignment he was always going to call you into, could not be released into the world while the scaffolding was still up, because the scaffolding had its own shape, and the real shape of you is different. The real shape of you has a different weight, a different sound, a different texture, and if the real you had been pushed through the scaffolding would have cracked in ways that could have damaged you. So God did something merciful. He took you somewhere quiet, somewhere dry, somewhere where the usual sources of identity had less grip on you, and he started to remove the scaffolding one piece at a time. And that is why so much of the last several years felt like loss. You were losing parts of yourself you thought were essential. You were losing relationships that you thought were supposed to last forever. You were losing opinions and beliefs and preferences that had shaped your personality since you were young. You were losing approval from rooms you used to be welcome in. You were losing certainty about things you used to be sure of. And you thought you were coming apart. You were not coming apart. You were being peeled, like an onion, like a piece of fruit being prepared for the table. Each layer that came off was a layer that was never you. Each layer that came off was a layer you inherited, a layer you borrowed, a layer you built to survive somewhere you no longer needed to survive. And the reason you felt so much grief during those removals is because those layers had been with you for so long that your nervous system had confused them for your actual skin. But they were never your skin. They were your scaffolding. Now listen carefully, because this is where it lands. What remains after the scaffolding comes down is the real you. The you who cannot be assembled from the outside. The you who carries the assignment no committee could have written for you. The you who is now, right now, in the exact condition needed to walk into April 24, 25, and 26, and receive what was scheduled for that version of you and no other. If the old version had arrived, the old version would not have fit through the door. But the real you fits. The real you was always going to fit. And the fact that you are standing in your actual identity today, after years of being peeled, is proof that the first purpose of your wilderness has been completed. Now let me show you the second purpose, because this one is even more important than the first. The second thing the wilderness was doing in you was building interior capacity. And when I say interior capacity, I do not mean strength in the way the world talks about strength. I mean room. I mean space. I mean the ability to hold what is coming without spilling it. Here is the principle. Every container can only hold what its size allows. A thimble cannot hold a gallon. A cup cannot hold an ocean. And a soul cannot hold a promise larger than the interior space it has been prepared to carry. Most people do not talk about this, but it is the reason so many people receive answered prayers and immediately lose them. They prayed for the thing arrived. The thing was bigger than their interior could handle. The container cracked, and the thing they had been praying for leaked out through the cracks, and they ended up worse off than before. God does not do that with his children. God does not send answered prayers that will break the person he loves. So, before he sends the answer, he builds the vessel. And the building of the vessel takes time. It has to. Because building a vessel is not an act of addition. Building a vessel is an act of hollowing. You hollow wood to make a cup. You hollow stone to make a basin. You hollow a tree to make a canoe. And you hollow a soul by taking things out of it, not by adding things in. That is what God has been doing with you. He has been hollowing. He has been making room. The removals you grieved were not only dismantlement, they were also excavation. Every relationship that left, every dream that dried up, every phase of life that ended, every version of yourself that was peeled away, all of it was also digging, making space, widening the cup. And you can trust this. By the time you reach April 24, April 25, and April 26, the cup is the size it needed to be. Not too small, because the promise has to fit. Not too big, because God does not overform. Exactly right. Hollowed to the exact specifications of the blessing scheduled to arrive. Some of you needed to hear that today, because you have been wondering, quietly, if the wilderness went too far. You have been wondering if maybe God took out too much. You have been wondering if the emptiness you feel inside you right now is a permanent state. It is not. The emptiness is the cup, and the cup is about to be filled. Now, here is the third purpose your wilderness was serving, and this one is the one I want you to receive most deeply of all three. The third thing the wilderness was doing in you was sharpening your discernment. It was teaching you to sense what cannot be seen. It was training you to recognize the difference between the real thing and the counterfeit of the real thing. Because here is what happens around a person who is about to step into a significant season of release. The real thing is not the only thing that shows up. The counterfeit shows up too. Sometimes the counterfeit shows up first. Sometimes the counterfeit shows up dressed in the exact clothing of what you have been praying for. Sometimes the counterfeit is so convincing that if you had not been sharpened, you would take the counterfeit, run with it, invest yourself in it, give it a year of your life, and then wake up one morning and realize it was never the real thing. The years you spent in the quiet trained you to feel the difference. You probably do not even realize yet how sharp your discernment has become, but you have started to notice that when someone speaks, you can tell within minutes whether their words match their spirit. You have started to notice that certain environments feel off, even when everyone around you is excited about them. You have started to notice that opportunities that look amazing on paper sometimes carry a smell of something wrong underneath. That is not paranoia. That is not cynicism. That is the seer in you that was forged in the wilderness, and it is operational now, and it is going to protect you during these 3 days. Because when the door opens on April 24, 25, and 26, your discernment is going to be the thing that decides whether you walk through the right door or the counterfeit door. Both will present themselves. Both will look like answered prayer at first glance, but only one will be the real thing. And the version of you that is standing at the threshold is the version that can tell them apart. That was the third purpose, and that purpose is complete. Now, I want you to hold all three of those purposes together for a moment, because when you hold them side by side, a pattern emerges that I want you to see clearly. What felt like delay was actually development. What felt like isolation was actually incubation. What felt like silence was actually selection. What felt like being behind was actually being hidden. Read those again in your spirit. Do not rush past them. What felt like delay was actually development, and the reason the development had to happen before the delivery is because the delivery would have broken you if you were still the old version. What felt like isolation was actually incubation, and the reason the incubation had to happen in private is because most eggs do not survive being watched. What felt like silence was actually selection, and the reason God went quiet for that specific stretch is because he was choosing the exact moment and the exact manner in which he would break the silence, and any answer earlier than this moment would have been the wrong answer. What felt like being behind was actually being hidden, and the reason he hid you is because hidden things are protected things, and he had no intention of letting you lose what he was building before you were strong enough to keep it. Every single thing you grieved was serving you. Every single thing that looked like loss was set up. Every single year that felt like waste was investment. I am not saying this to be positive. I am saying this because it is accurate. Go back over the last 5 years of your life with the lens I just gave you, and you will be able to locate the development that was happening under the delay, and the incubation that was happening under the isolation, and the selection that was happening under the silence, and the hiding that was happening under the sense of being behind. All of it, every piece. You just did not have the right lens before. You have the lens now. Now, while we are here, I want to mention something briefly, because it is connected to this teaching and it deserves to be named. There is a researcher named Dr. Robert Lake, whose work I have been reading for a while, and one of the pieces he developed over the years deals with something he calls the youthful brain. And the central observation behind his entire body of work is that something inside us begins to be dimmed around the age of 7, and from that point forward, most of us spend our lives carrying a diminished version of the mental and spiritual capacity we were born with. I bring this up not to sell you anything right now. I bring it up because it explains, in scientific terms, exactly what I just walked you through spiritually. The version of you that existed before the scaffolding was a version with full capacity. The scaffolding reduced the capacity. And one of the things that happens in a proper wilderness season is that the capacity begins to return because the layers that were suppressing it are being taken away. Keep that in the back of your mind. We will come back to it later. Now, let me show you how all of this connects to April, because spring is not a metaphor I picked at random. Spring is the season that, more than any other season, corresponds exactly to the pattern I have just walked you through. The earth spends all winter being dismantled. The earth spends all winter being hollowed. The earth spends all winter being sharpened against the cold. And then, in a specific window, usually somewhere in late April, the earth crosses a line. The frost breaks. The soil warms. The seeds that have been buried for months begin to lift, and everything that was happening under the surface, invisibly, silently, slowly, begins to come through the ground. Your life is that earth, and April 24, 25, and 26 is that window. The dismantlement is complete, the hollowing is complete, the sharpening is complete. The ground is about to move. Do not miss it. Now, before we go any further, I want to name something else, because there is an obstacle that rises up in some of you right at this point in the message, and if I do not address it now, it will follow you through the rest of this word, and it will block your reception of what I am about to deliver. The obstacle is doubt, and I want to talk about it directly. For some of you, everything I have just said makes sense in your head, but there is a voice underneath your thinking that keeps whispering, "What if I am wrong about the whole thing? What if the years I have been waiting were not preparation? What if the interior work I have been going through was not purposeful? What if the sensitivity I have developed is not discernment, but anxiety? What if the promise I heard a decade ago was not a promise from God, but a wish I made up to survive the hard season I was in at the time?" That voice. You know the voice I am talking about. I want to speak to that voice, not to destroy it, because that voice has been protecting you. The voice was built during years when you needed a layer of skepticism to keep you from getting hurt by false hope. The voice is a friend, but the voice has a job description, and the job description is to protect you from counterfeit promises. The voice does not have the job description of evaluating real promises. When the real thing shows up, the voice still fires. The voice still warns. The voice still says, "What if?" That is not the voice telling you the promise is false. That is the voice doing what the voice was built to do, firing at everything because the voice cannot yet tell the difference. So, here is what I want you to do with the voice. Do not silence it. Do not argue with it. Do not try to prove it wrong. Just acknowledge it, thank it, and then keep going anyway. Because the people who receive their April windows are not the people who never had the doubting voice. They are the people who heard the voice, nodded to it, and walked through the door regardless. Esther had the voice. Before she walked into the throne room, there was a voice inside her whispering, "What if this is the last day of your life?" She heard the voice. She did not pretend it was not there. She said, "If I perish, I perish." And then she walked. That is the posture I want for you in the days ahead. Acknowledge the doubt. Do not make a war with it, but walk anyway, because the walking is what activates the window. Now, I want to shift for a moment because I want to prepare you for what comes next. I want to prepare you because the next portion of this message is going to move fast, and I do not want you to miss any of it. So, stay close. What I have walked you through up to this point has been the work of the past, the stripping, the hollowing, the sharpening, the silent years, the dismantlement that felt like dying, and the construction that felt like nothing at all. All of that is the past. All of that is what brought you here. But the reason I spent so much time on the past is because the past is the platform on which the present now stands, and the present is a specific place. The present has a location. The present has a name. The present is the threshold, and the threshold is where you are standing right now, in the week you are listening to this, in the final stretch of April, before those 3 specific dates arrive. You are not somewhere in the middle of the season. You are not still in the wilderness. You are not still in the peeling. You are at the hinge. And hinges are short. Hinges last days, not years. Hinges are designed to swing quickly and then close. So if I tell you you are at a hinge, what I am telling you is that the window you are inside of is small, and the window is closing toward an opening rather than a closing. And within days, the door that the hinge connects to is going to swing. You have been feeling it without having the words for it. Some of you have been waking up for the last several weeks with a restlessness you could not explain. Not anxiety, not dread, something else. Something more like the feeling a traveler gets the morning of a long journey, a readiness, a sensing that today is different. That has been happening to you because the hinge is near. Some of you have been noticing that the things that used to consume your attention are starting to feel less important. Projects you used to care about have begun to lose their grip. Conversations you used to enjoy have begun to feel shallow. Your tolerance for small drama has dropped significantly. That is not depression. That is the hinge recalibrating your priorities so that you are not distracted when the door opens. Some of you have been having vivid dreams in the last 4 to 6 weeks. Dreams you wake up from remembering clearly. Dreams that do not feel like ordinary sleep processing, but something more like instruction. If that is happening to you, do not dismiss it. Pay attention. The subconscious becomes porous in the weeks before a major hinge, and some of what you have been receiving in the night hours is going to prove useful during the 3 days. And some of you have been seeing the numbers 24, 25, and 26 inches, strange places, on receipts, on clocks, when you look up randomly, on license plates, on page numbers, in books, in phone numbers, in order totals. And you have been dismissing it as coincidence because that is what the modern mind is trained to do. But I want to tell you something. It is not coincidence. God uses the ordinary to speak to the people who have been trained to miss the extraordinary. He writes his messages into the margins of your life because he knows you read the margins. And the numbers have been showing up because the numbers matter, and the numbers are trying to get your attention, and your attention is the thing he needs you to bring into the 3-day window. So if any of that has been happening, stop dismissing it. Start receiving it. Start treating the signs as signs. Because the next part of this message is going to walk you through the exact 5 recognition indicators that confirm you are the one these 3 days were written for. And you are going to see yourself in several of them. And when you do, I want you to let that seeing matter. Let me pause here for a moment. I want you to breathe. I know that was a dense stretch. I have been speaking to you for over 20 minutes now, and your body is in a specific posture, and your breath has a specific rhythm. And before we continue into the recognition section, I want you to take a single slow inhale and let it out. Just one. Nothing to receive, nothing to release. Just breathe. Okay, thank you for staying. The reason I paused is because what comes next deserves your full attention, and I did not want you to walk into it tired. Some of the most important things I am going to say in this entire message are about to come in the next portion, and I need you awake. So, if you need to stretch for a second, stretch. If you need to sit up differently, sit up differently. Just do it now, before I begin, so that when I begin, nothing is between us. Ready? Because what I am about to walk you through is going to tell you exactly where you are on the map, and exactly how close you are to the door, and exactly what is going to confirm in your own life that you are the chosen one these 3 days were scheduled for. Stay with me. Welcome back, chosen one. I want to pick up exactly where I left off, because I told you something at the close of the last section that deserves to be treated carefully. I told you that you are at the hinge. I told you that the hinge is short, and I told you that the next part of this message would show you where you are on the map. So, let me show you. I want you to picture something with me. Not a church scene, not a mountaintop, not a dramatic vision. Something quieter than that. I want you to picture a doorway. Just a doorway. The kind that exists in ordinary houses, the kind you walk through 100 times a week without thinking about it, the kind that separates a kitchen from a living room, a bedroom from a hallway, an entry from a porch. Just a plain doorway with a plain frame, and on either side of it, 2 different rooms. Now, I want you to imagine that you are standing inside the frame. 1 foot is in the room behind you. 1 foot is in the room in front of you. You have not left the old room yet, but you are not fully in the new room either. You are in between. You are in the threshold. And the threshold is where I believe you have been living for the last several weeks. Thresholds have a very specific feeling, and if you pay attention, you can identify when you are in one. Thresholds feel like you are about to step into something but have not stepped yet. Thresholds feel like you have already left something, but the air of it is still on your clothes. Thresholds feel like a held breath. Thresholds feel like the moment before a door opens, before a word is spoken, before a name is called. And the reason the last several weeks have felt so strange to you is because you have been standing in a threshold and you did not have the word for what that was. Now, I am giving you the word. You are in a threshold. The threshold is the hinge. The hinge is swinging toward April 24, 25, and 26. And in the next few minutes, I am going to walk you through the 5 unmistakable signs that confirm you are the one standing in this specific threshold at this specific time for this specific reason. Pay attention to which of these land on you. because you are not going to experience all 5 with the same weight. Some of them are going to feel familiar in a vague way. Some of them are going to feel familiar in a way that stops you cold. And when the stop cold one comes, you will know. That will be your spirit saying, yes, that one is me. I want you to mark the ones that do that. Here is the first sign. The first sign is a shift in your tolerance, and the shift has been sudden. Things you used to be able to sit through, you can no longer sit through. Conversations you used to participate in politely now make you want to leave the room. Social gatherings that used to recharge you now drain you in a way that feels disproportionate to the effort. Environments that were familiar and comfortable for years have begun to feel loud in a way you cannot quite describe. Not loud in volume, but loud in a different register, like they are broadcasting on a frequency your spirit is no longer tuned to. And you have been wondering if something is wrong with you. You have been wondering if you have become antisocial. You have been wondering if you are becoming judgmental, or picky, or harder to please. You have been asking yourself why you used to be able to handle all of this, and now you cannot. Nothing is wrong with you. What is happening is that your frequency has changed, and the environments you used to fit into have not. The mismatch is not a flaw. The mismatch is a sign. It is a sign that the interior shift I walked you through earlier has been successful. Your container has been hollowed. Your scaffolding has been removed, and the real you does not resonate with the shape of those old rooms. Your body is telling you that before your mind can articulate it. This is not social fatigue. This is not depression. This is not you becoming difficult. This is frequency incompatibility, and the reason it has become acute in the last several weeks is because the closer you get to the hinge, the less tolerance you have for anything that pulls you out of alignment. That is sign 1. Here is the second sign. The second sign is a quiet detachment from the things that used to matter. Not the important things. You still love the people you love. You still care about the relationships that matter. I am not talking about that. I am talking about the second tier of things. The hobbies you used to throw yourself into, the shows you used to binge, the causes you used to argue about online, the little corners of life you used to pour your attention into because they were enjoyable or stimulating or habitual. Those have started to lose their pull. You sit down to do the thing you used to love, and the thing that used to activate something in you just does not activate the same way. You turn on what used to be your favorite show, and 15 minutes in, you realize you are not watching it. You scroll through something that used to amuse you, and you feel nothing. You do not feel bad about it. You do not feel angry about it. You just feel a slow, quiet detachment, a decoupling, a letting go that is happening without your permission. That detachment has a purpose. Every hour your attention is occupied by the second tier is an hour your attention cannot be available for the first tier. And what is coming in these 3 days belongs entirely to the first tier. So, God is disentangling you. He is peeling your attention off the distractions so that when the door opens, your attention is available. He is clearing the channel. Do not fight it. Let the second tier go. The second tier was training wheels. You are not using training wheels anymore. That is sign 2. If you have been noticing that things that used to matter to you are quietly falling off, you are not losing interest in life. You are being prepared. Here is the third sign. The third sign is an emotional pattern that does not match your external circumstances. Nothing particularly dramatic is happening on the outside of your life. The week looks normal. The calendar looks normal. The inbox looks normal. but your emotional inner weather has been behaving like there is a storm no one else can see. One moment you are fine, and then, without warning, you are on the verge of tears over something you cannot name. An hour later, you are in a sweep of peace so deep it surprises you. Later, the same day, you feel a pulse of grief for something that ended years ago, something you thought you had processed, something that had no reason to surface today. Then, the peace returns. Then, the grief. Then, a strange, quiet hope. All of it in the space of a single afternoon, without any external event to explain any of it. Your emotional system is not malfunctioning. Your emotional system is processing at a depth your ordinary life does not usually touch. What is happening is that the old internal architecture, the one I told you was being dismantled, is coming down in real time, and as each piece comes down, the feelings that were stored inside that piece are being released. That is what you are feeling. You are feeling the evacuation of emotional material that was held inside structures that are no longer there. It has to come up and out. If it stays, the new architecture cannot settle in. This is not bipolarity. This is not a breakdown. This is a decommissioning, and decommissionings are emotionally loud, even when the external events are quiet. If this has been happening to you, you are not unstable. You are in the final stretch of an interior transition, and the reason the emotional weather is so active is because the transition is almost complete, and the last material is surfacing before the doors open. That is sign 3. The emotional contrast inside you right now does not mean something is wrong. It means something is almost done. Here is the 4th sign. The 4th sign is that the numbers 24, 25, and 26, or the month of April itself, have been appearing in your life in ways that cannot be fully explained by coincidence. I mentioned this briefly earlier. I want to name it more specifically now, because the sign shows up in a very particular way, and if you have been experiencing it, you have probably been dismissing it, and I do not want you to dismiss it anymore. You have been seeing the number 24 where it did not need to be. You have been noticing 25 on clocks at moments when you were thinking about something unrelated, and the timing made you pause. You have been finding 26 inches receipts and license plates and page numbers and text messages and totals and order numbers, and you have started to notice that you are noticing. That is the key. The noticing itself is part of the sign, because synchronicity only becomes a message when the receiver is awake enough to register it. Otherwise, it passes through the environment unseen. Your noticing is not paranoia. Your noticing is confirmation that your spirit has come online in a way it was not online a few months ago. The same goes for the word April, or the concept of spring, showing up in conversations, in songs, in random books, in unexpected references. Some of you have had people say things to you this week that contained those words in a context that had nothing to do with your situation, and yet the words felt pointed at you. Some of you have opened a book or a devotional or a random article, and the page you landed on had something about April or spring or threshold or new beginning. Some of you have had it happen so many times that you are starting to wonder if you are imagining it. You are not imagining it. Heaven uses ambient signals. Heaven writes with the margins of your life. And the reason the margins have been so loud for the last several weeks is because the message being embedded into them is the same message across 1,000 small interactions, which is, the moment is near, the moment is for you, wake up. That is sign 4. If the numbers and words are finding you in unexpected places, do not talk yourself out of it. Receive it. And here is the 5th sign. The 5th sign is vivid dreams that feel instructive, not random. You know the difference between an ordinary dream and a dream that carries weight. Ordinary dreams fade within minutes. You remember fragments, and the fragments are fuzzy, and by breakfast the whole thing has dissolved. A weighty dream does not behave that way. A weighty dream is still with you at 10 in the morning. It is still with you at 2 in the afternoon. It arrives in you with edges, with colors, with a clarity that ordinary dreams do not have, and it leaves a residue in your chest that lasts into the next day. In the last 4 to 6 weeks, several of you listening to me right now have had dreams like that. You have had dreams where someone you had not thought about in years appeared and said something specific. You have had dreams where you were walking through a place you have never been, but the place felt familiar. You have had dreams where a word was spoken to you that you remembered when you woke up. You have had dreams where you saw yourself, a future version of yourself, doing something you have not yet done in real life, and you woke up with the feeling that you had been shown a preview. Those are not ordinary dreams. Those are instructive dreams. And the reason they have been increasing in the weeks leading up to this window is because the subconscious, which is the part of you that is closest to the spirit, becomes porous in the lead up to a major threshold. Information flows more easily across the membrane between the unseen and the seen when a threshold is approaching. You have been receiving downloads. Write them down. Pay attention to them. Some of what you have been shown at night will prove to be preparation for what happens in daylight during those 3 days. That is sign 5. If you have been having dreams that feel bigger than dreams, they are bigger than dreams. Now, I want you to do something with me, mentally, not out loud. I want you to go back through the 5 signs I just walked you through, and I want you to count how many of them landed on you. Not how many you wish were true. How many actually were true in the last several weeks, without you having to stretch or hope. Just count them, honestly. If you counted 1, that 1 is still significant, and it is enough. 1 is enough. If you counted 2 or 3, the pattern is on you, and the pattern is pointed at you, and the 3 days are for you. And if you counted 4 or 5, chosen one, I want you to understand something. You are not standing near the door. You are at the door. Your hand is already on the handle. The handle is already turning. What you thought was restlessness is the handle turning in your hand. Do not miss this. Do not let this message pass you by, because the cost of missing what is scheduled for you in these 3 days is not nothing. The cost is another season of the kind of waiting you have just come out of, and your soul has not been designed to repeat that season. So, stay close, stay awake. What comes next matters. Now listen, because what I just walked you through was not the whole picture. What I just walked you through were the signs that confirm where you are. But signs are not the same as meaning. Signs point at something. The something is what we have to go to next. And the something is the actual content of those 3 days. What, specifically, is being released into April 24, April 25, and April 26. What is being released on which day, and what you need to do to receive what is being released on each one. Let me tell you something before I walk you through the days themselves. What I am going to show you in the next portion of this message is not a prediction about world events. It is not a claim about what will happen in other people's lives. It is not a forecast. It is a word from heaven about what has been scheduled for you, personally, across those 3 days. And the reason I can speak about it with this level of specificity is because the pattern of 3-day hinges in the scriptures is consistent, and what I believe God is doing in this window is consistent with how he has moved in every 3-day window before it. So, I am not inventing. I am reading the pattern, and the pattern is clear. April 24 is not the same as April 25. April 25 is not the same as April 26. Each of the 3 days has a specific assignment. Each of the 3 days is releasing a specific kind of movement. And if you treat the 3 days as a single blur, you will miss the precision that God built into them. But if you walk into the 3 days understanding that each of them has its own specific function, you will know what to watch for on each day. You will know how to position yourself on each day, and you will not miss a single thing that was scheduled for you. Stay with me, because what I am about to show you is the map. Before I open the map, though, there is something I need to pause and say to you, because some of you listening right now are already further along than the message has yet acknowledged, and it would not be honest of me to keep going without naming what is happening inside you. Some of you are not just awake. Some of you are not just noticing the signs. Some of you are already feeling a specific kind of pull inside your chest, a pull that is not about information or teaching, but about action, a pull that is saying, I do not just want to hear about the window, I want to step into it, I want to be ready, I want the thing that makes me ready. If that is you, I hear you, and I am not going to pretend you are not there. So before I continue into the map of the 3 days, I am going to tell you, briefly, about something that exists for exactly the state you are in, and then I am going to return to the teaching, and you can decide what to do with what I share. Stay with me through the next few minutes. What comes after this is the heart of the message. But this little pause is for the ones who are already past the door in their spirit, and those ones deserve to be seen. Here is what I want to say to those of you whose spirit is already pulling you toward action before the teaching is even finished. I see you. I am not going to pretend you are not there. And I owe you a straight word about something that exists for exactly the state you are in, because it would not be honest of me to walk through this entire message without giving you access to the one practical tool that matches what I have been describing. Everything I walked you through in those 5 recognition signs, the way your tolerance has shifted, the way your frequency has changed, the way your spirit has come online in a register it was not operating in before, all of that has a name in the scientific world too. The frequency I have been circling around has been mapped in laboratories. It has been measured. It has been documented. And there is a man named Dr. Robert Lake, whose entire life work, over 34 years of research, has been built around helping that specific frequency come back online inside the human brain. Because most of us lose it somewhere around the age of 7, and most of us spend the rest of our lives trying to remember a capacity we do not even know we had. What Dr. Lake discovered is that there is a way to reactivate that frequency deliberately in a 7-minute window, using something simple enough that you can do it right where you are, without meditation training, without equipment, without any of the things most people assume they need. It is called the Genius Song. It is a calibrated audio track that uses brain entrainment technology to gently guide the brain into the gamma wave pattern, which is the same pattern that researchers at institutions like MIT and Princeton have documented as the signature frequency of insight, intuition, clarity, and the flow states that chosen ones were designed to live inside. If your spirit is already pulling you toward it, the link is in the description below this message and in the pinned comment. It was placed there on purpose for the people who are listening to this in exactly the state you are in. There is no rush from my end. Stay with the rest of this teaching if you want the full context, because what is coming is the heart of the message. But if you already know, the door is right there for you. For those of you staying, let me pull us back into what I promised you. I told you at the end of the last section that I would walk you through the map of these 3 days. I meant it. So let me open the map now. Here is something I want you to understand before I take you into the days themselves. Each of the 3 days has its own character. Each of the 3 days is carrying its own specific assignment. And if you treat the 3 as a single, undifferentiated window, you will miss the precision that God built into them. So, I am going to take them one at a time, slowly, and I am going to tell you what I believe is being released on each day, what the assignment of that day is asking of you, and how to position yourself inside it so that you do not walk past what is being offered. Let me start with the first of the 3. April 24 is the release day. April 24 is the day things fall away. April 24 is the day loose ends that have been hanging in your life for months, sometimes years, finally get to be finished. April 24 is the day the exhale happens. And I want you to understand what I mean by release, because release is often misunderstood. Release does not mean the thing disappears. Release does not mean the story never happened. Release does not mean you erase the years that came before. Release means the grip loosens. Release means the thing you have been carrying stops weighing you the way it has been weighing you. Release means the energy that was tied up inside a chapter of your life that is already over finally gets to come home to you. There is a very specific experience that people have when a release day arrives, and I want to describe it so you can recognize it when it happens. The experience feels like something ending that you did not realize was still holding on. You will be going about an ordinary morning, or you will be halfway through a conversation, or you will be doing something completely unrelated, and suddenly a feeling will sweep through you that a particular weight is gone. It will not be dramatic. It will not announce itself with fireworks. It will more often arrive as a quiet noticing. You will notice that a tightness in your chest you had forgotten was there has gone missing. You will notice that when you think about a person or a situation that used to send a surge of pain through you, the surge does not come anymore. You will notice that something is lighter. And when you look back to find out what changed, you will not be able to point to a single event. It will just be that the release happened silently in the background of your ordinary life while you were not looking. That is what April 24 is built for. It is the day the invisible releases happen. And because 3 different domains of your life have been waiting for release, April 24 is going to move in 3 specific directions. In the domain of your relationships, April 24 is going to finalize the letting go of a connection that has already been over in every real sense, but that your heart has not yet given itself permission to close. You know the connection I am describing. It is the one that keeps surfacing in your thoughts at random hours. It is the one that you have had the same recurring conversation with yourself about for months. It is the one you have tried to write a final letter to in your head 7 different times and never felt settled about any of the versions. That one. On April 24, something in the spiritual air around you is going to take the pen out of your hand, finish the letter on your behalf, and close the envelope. Not because you forced it, because it was time. And you will know it was time because the weight will lift, and you will not have to do anything except allow the lifting. In the domain of your purpose, April 24 is going to close a chapter you have been trying to close without success. There is something you have been attempting to lay down for a long time, a project you have outgrown, a direction you have realized was not the path. A version of your calling that belonged to an earlier season and has been asking to be released for months. You have known it was over. You just have not been able to release it, because something about letting it go felt like admitting the years you spent inside it were wasted. They were not wasted. That is part of what I walked you through earlier. But your hands have been gripping the handle of that chapter anyway. And on April 24, the handle is going to dissolve in your hand. The chapter is going to close itself, and you are going to feel, for the first time in a long time, that your hands are free. In the domain of your provision, April 24 is going to release a financial weight or a practical burden that has been draining you more than it should. This one shows up differently for different people. For some of you, it will be the final closure of a financial chapter, a debt being resolved, a payment arriving, a release from something that had you feeling trapped. For others, it will be less material, more structural, something like the release from an obligation that had been sitting on your shoulders and is finally handed off. The specifics are not the point. The point is that something that was draining your provisional capacity is going to stop draining it, and the resources that were flowing outward into the drain are going to start flowing in a different direction, which matters enormously because of what is coming on April 26. Keep that in mind. So, here is how I want you to position yourself for April 24. Do not try to orchestrate the releases. Do not try to manufacture them. Do not spend April 24 white-knuckling through a list of things you think you should let go of. April 24 is not a day for effort. April 24 is a day for permission. Give yourself permission to feel lighter when the lightness arrives. Give yourself permission to notice the letting go without immediately trying to analyze what caused it. Give yourself permission to rest inside the release instead of bracing against it. The day will do its own work. Your job is to not resist it. Stay open, stay quiet, stay willing to notice. And when the first release happens, even if it is small, mark it. Say thank you in your spirit, because marking the release is what allows the next one to arrive. Now let me take you into April 25, because April 25 is the middle day, and middle days have a specific function in 3-day windows. The middle day is always the day of revelation. The middle day is when what was hidden becomes visible. The middle day is when you finally see, with clarity, what the whole window was actually for. And I want to pause here for a moment, because I want to teach you a word. I want to teach you this word, because once you have it, you will read every scripture that mentions a sacred time differently than you did before, and the full weight of what I am describing in these 3 days will sit on you with a gravity you do not currently have. Turn in your spirit to the book of Leviticus, and then to the Psalms and to the prophets, because the word I am about to give you appears all throughout the Hebrew scriptures. The word most English translations render as appointed time or season or set time. When you read those words in English, you probably picture a general season, a loose window, a stretch of days when something is likely to happen. That is what the English makes you think. But in the original Hebrew, the word is mode, M-O-E-D, mode. And mode does not mean a loose season. Mode does not mean a general time frame. Mode does not mean approximately. Mode is the Hebrew word for a precisely fixed, divinely scheduled, sacred gathering point on the calendar of God. It is the word used for the high holy days of the Hebrew year, the days that were placed on the calendar by God personally, the days that he himself marked as different from every other day, the days he commanded the people to show up for because he was going to show up first. That is what Moed means, an appointment, a fixed meeting place in time, a sacred rendezvous that God scheduled before time began, and that he keeps, and that he expects you to keep with him. And here is the piece I want you to receive. The Hebrew mind did not see time the way the modern mind sees time. The modern mind sees time as a flat, uniform, undifferentiated stream. Monday is just Monday. The 17th is just the 17th. One day is the same as any other. But the Hebrew mind understood that time is not flat. The Hebrew mind understood that God embeds certain days into the calendar with a different quality, a different density, a different sanctity than the days around them. And the word for those days, the days that were different from the other days on purpose, was moed. Now, listen to me. If God is the one who marks certain days as moed, and if the moed is a fixed meeting place where he shows up and expects his people to show up too, then what I am telling you about April 24, April 25, and April 26 is exactly that. Not a prediction, not a prophecy, not a forecast, a mode. 3 days that I believe heaven has marked as different in your personal calendar. 3 days that carry a density the other days of the month do not carry. 3 days that were scheduled not by me, and not by you, and not by any human being, but by the one who keeps appointments in time. Let me give you an analogy to make this land. Imagine you are standing on a beach, and the waves are coming in, one after another, each one more or less the same as the last. That is how most of your days feel. One wave, another wave, another wave, all similar. But every so often, out in the ocean, a larger wave begins to build. It has been forming for a long time, out beyond where you can see. By the time you can see it, it is almost at the shore. And when it reaches the beach, it does not behave like the other waves. It hits differently. It carries more water. It moves further up the sand than any wave before it. That is moed. A wave that was forming for a long time in the unseen, that arrives at the shore with a weight no ordinary wave has, that moves further up into your life than the daily waves ever have. And April 24, 25, and 26 are the cresting of that wave. So, when I tell you that April 25 is the Revelation Day, what I am really telling you is that the middle of the moed is the day the clarity breaks. The middle of the sacred gathering is the day the voice speaks most clearly. The middle of the 3-day arc is when what has been hidden in the ground for years comes up into the light for you to see. And what is going to be revealed to you on April 25 is specific. It is going to come in 3 forms, and I want to describe each one. The first form of revelation is going to be about a person, someone in your life, or someone about to enter your life, or someone who has been in your life for a long time, but whose real role you have not yet fully understood, is going to become clear to you on this day. You are going to see, suddenly, and with a clarity you cannot argue with, who they are to you, what their purpose has been in your story, and what you are being called to do next in relationship with them. It may be a reconciliation becoming obvious. It may be a separation becoming obvious. It may be a partnership being confirmed. The point is that the fog around a specific person is going to lift, and you are going to be able to see the relationship as it actually is, not as you have been framing it to protect yourself. The second form of revelation is going to be about your calling. Some of you have been circling around the outer edges of your real assignment for years. You have had pieces of it. You have had glimpses. You have had seasons where you were close enough to feel the heat of it, but not close enough to see the fire directly. On April 25, the fire is going to come into focus. You are going to see what you are actually for, not the version of it you have told other people, not the version of it you have been working on as a placeholder. The real version, the one that explains every single gift and wound you have been carrying since you were young. And when the seeing happens, you are not going to be able to unsee it. That is how revelations work. They do not offer themselves twice. Once they arrive, they stay. The third form of revelation is going to be about your own identity, and this one is the deepest, because some of you have been, for years, carrying a wrong diagnosis of who you are. You have been told, either by other people or by your own inner voice, that you are too much or not enough, or the wrong kind of person for the life you are meant to live. All of those assessments were built during seasons when you were still wearing the scaffolding I described earlier. They do not apply anymore, but your mind has not caught up to that. On April 25, your mind is going to catch up. You are going to see yourself, for the first time in a long time, the way heaven has always seen you. And the seeing is going to be gentle, not crushing. It is going to feel like a homecoming, not an exposure, because the real you has been waiting for you to come home to her. And April 25 is the day you walk in the door. So, how do you position yourself for April 25? How do you receive revelation that is being broadcast for you? The answer is simple, but it is not easy. You have to slow down, you have to leave room. Revelation does not arrive in the middle of a crowded mind. Revelation does not land in the middle of a jammed calendar. Revelation requires a clear channel, which means you need to do less on April 25, not more. Less input, less noise, less trying to figure things out, more sitting, more silence, more willingness to let the seeing come to you instead of hunting for it. Think of it this way. If the revelation is a bird, and you are in a forest, the bird will not land on a branch that is shaking. The branch has to be still. Your mind, your body, your schedule, your day, on April 25, should all be still enough that when the bird descends, it has something quiet to land on. Make yourself landable. That is the posture. Now, let me walk you into the third day, because April 26 is different from the first 2 days, and I want you to understand why. Because this is the day most people misunderstand the most. April 26 is the reception day. April 26 is the day what was released on the first day and revealed on the second day actually begins to enter. April 26 is when the thing starts to arrive. And this one is the day you have to be the most careful, because arrival is the step where most people lose what was meant for them. They survive the release, they receive the revelation, and then they blow the reception, because reception is a different skill than releasing or seeing. Reception requires you to hold. And most chosen ones have never been trained in holding. They have been trained in chasing. They have been trained in striving. They have been trained in working hard for what they want, earning it, deserving it, proving they are ready for it. All of that is fine for producing, but it is not useful for receiving. Receiving requires the opposite posture. Receiving requires stillness. Receiving requires openness. Receiving requires the ability to let something be given to you without immediately trying to control, improve, manage, or perfect it the moment it lands in your hands. Here is the image I want you to hold. Imagine someone hands you a bowl full of water. If your hands are relaxed, the bowl settles into your palms and the water stays in the bowl. But if your hands are tense, if they grip, if they try to steady the bowl too aggressively, the water sloshes over the edge and spills. Reception is the art of holding the bowl without gripping. That is the skill April 26 is going to require of you. 3 specific things are going to arrive on April 26, and each of them requires a specific posture of reception. The first thing that is going to arrive is a word of confirmation, something you have been hoping was true, something you have been sensing but have not been able to verify, is going to be confirmed on this day from a source outside yourself. It might be a conversation where someone says exactly what you needed to hear. It might be a line from a book you happen to pick up. It might be a message that reaches you in a way that feels almost too timed to be random. However it arrives, it will arrive. And the reception you need to practice is the reception of gratitude without bargaining. Most people, when confirmation comes, immediately begin bargaining for more. They want a second confirmation to make sure the first one was real. They want a third to triangulate. They keep asking the sky to repeat itself, as if the sky owes them a rerun. The sky does not owe you a rerun. When the confirmation comes, receive it the first time. Let it settle. Do not chase it. The second thing that is going to arrive is a doorway. A specific opportunity or invitation or open door is going to present itself on April 26. And I want to be clear about something. The doorway may look small at first. It may not look like the dramatic breakthrough you have been waiting for. It may look like a conversation or a meeting that gets scheduled, or a simple invitation to do something you had not expected. Do not be deceived by the size of the door. The doors that lead to the biggest rooms are often the smallest doors. The doorway to the throne room in Esther's story was just a corridor. The door that led Ruth to Boaz was just a field. The door that took Joseph from the prison to Pharaoh was a single conversation with a cupbearer who finally remembered him. Do not measure the door by its size. Measure it by whether you feel a pull. If you feel a pull, walk through. The third thing that is going to arrive is a piece of the real thing. Whatever it is that you have been praying for at the center of your life, a piece of it, not the whole, but a piece, is going to show up on April 26. This is important. You are not necessarily going to receive the entire answered prayer on this one day. That is not how heaven usually moves. What you are going to receive is the first installment, the first tangible, undeniable piece, enough to confirm the promise was real, enough to tell your heart that the whole thing is coming, enough to move you from hope to evidence. Receive the first piece without demanding the whole, because the first piece is how you know the rest is on the way. So, here is the shape of the 3 days when you hold them together. April 24 is for the release. April 25 is for the revelation. April 26 is for the reception. The release clears the channel. The revelation shows you what is being given. The reception brings it in. 1, 2, 3. Release, reveal, receive. That is the arc. That is the pattern. That is the mode. I want you to speak those 3 words over your spirit. Not out loud, if you are in a place where you cannot. Just in your spirit. Release, reveal, receive. 3 words. Let them sit in your chest for a moment. They are the map. And if you want a picture of this map, think of what the earth has been doing underneath the winter. All winter long, the ground has been releasing the weight of last year. All winter long, something has been happening in the dark soil that the eye cannot see. And then, in a specific window, usually right around the end of April, the ground crosses a line. The frost gives way. The seeds crack open. The small green fingers start reaching toward the light. Day by day, the earth releases, reveals, and receives what has been waiting underneath it. Day 24 is when the last of the frost breaks loose. Day 25 is when the first shoots become visible above the soil line. Day 26 is when the earth begins to drink in the sunlight and let it turn her green. That is what spring is. That is what April is. And that is what is happening inside the spiritual architecture of your life this week. The earth remembers, and so does your spirit. Now I have told you the map. I have shown you the 3 days. I have given you the Hebrew word that describes what is happening. I have walked you through what you can expect on each of the 3 days, and how to position yourself to receive it. But knowing the map is not the same as walking the map. Knowing what to expect is not the same as being prepared for it. And I do not want you to leave this message with information alone, because information does not get you across the threshold. Practice does. Posture does. The specific things you do in the hours between now and April 24 do. So the next section of this message is going to be the most practical section I give you. I am going to hand you 3 specific tools, not theories, not metaphors, actual tools that you can begin using today to position yourself for the window. These are not tools I invented. These are tools that have been used by people across generations who knew how to walk into Moed windows and not waste them. And I am going to walk you through each one slowly. Stay with me, because what you are about to hear is the practice, and the practice is what separates the ones who receive from the ones who miss. Welcome back, Chosen One. Before I give you the first tool, let me close the loop I opened at the end of the last section, because I said that the practice is what separates the ones who receive from the ones who miss, and I want to explain what I meant by that. Here is the truth about mode windows. They come whether you are ready for them or not. The calendar does not wait for you to prepare. The wave that has been forming in the unseen does not delay its arrival at the shore because you have been distracted. The door opens on its own schedule, and on the other side of the door, something has been prepared for you, something specific, something assigned, something that has your name on it. But the door only opens for a short time, and what you do in the hours before and during it determines whether you are standing in front of the door when it swings, or whether you are somewhere else in your life, occupied by noise, looking in the wrong direction entirely. So the next 3 sections of this message are not optional. They are the practice. They are the 3 specific ways I want you to position yourself between now and April 24, so that when the first day arrives, you are already in the posture to receive. I am going to give you each tool slowly, one at a time, so that you can actually remember them. Because a tool you cannot remember is a tool you cannot use. So stay with me. Take one at a time. Let each one land before I give you the next one. The first tool is the practice of waiting well, and I know you have heard language about waiting before. Every spiritual teaching in the world talks about waiting. Most of it is not very useful. Most of it amounts to telling you to be patient, which is like telling someone who is drowning to breathe. It is true. It is not helpful. So, I want to give you something different. I want to give you a specific way of waiting that actually does something, instead of just asking you to endure. Here is the idea. Waiting well has 3 parts, not 3 steps you do in sequence. 3 parts that happen at the same time, like 3 strings on an instrument that have to be tuned together for the instrument to make music. If you only tune one, the instrument is still out of tune. All 3 have to move at once. Let me walk you through them. The first string of waiting well is the string of intentional stillness, not passive stillness, which is just sitting around doing nothing and getting eaten by your own anxiety. Intentional stillness, which means in specific windows of your day, you deliberately stop moving, deliberately stop producing, deliberately stop generating thoughts about the future, and you just sit in the present moment for a few minutes without trying to make anything happen. I want to be very practical here. I am not asking you to go on a silent retreat. I am not asking you to meditate for an hour. I am asking you, for the next several days leading into April 24, to practice 5-minute windows of intentional stillness at least twice a day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. You do not have to leave where you are. You do not have to assume any particular posture. You can be sitting in your car before you get out. You can be lying in bed before you get up. You can be in a chair at the kitchen table. Anywhere. You just stop moving for 5 minutes. No phone, no scrolling, no audio, no input. You just breathe and let the moment be what it is. And here is what will happen. In the first 2 minutes, your mind will protest. It will throw tasks at you. It will remind you of 5 things you should be doing. It will generate anxiety about something that does not need to be addressed right now. You will be tempted to reach for your phone. Do not reach. Stay still. By minute 3 or 4, something else will start to happen. The protests will begin to quiet. A small space will open up inside you. A space that has not been open all day because it has been crowded out by input. And inside that space, for the first time in hours, you will be able to hear your own spirit. You may not hear words. You may just hear a sense of something, a direction, a peace, a nudge, an awareness of what matters that you had lost track of. That awareness is the point. That awareness is what the stillness is cultivating. And that awareness is what will make you receptive when the releases and revelations of the 3 days begin to move. Do this twice a day between now and April 24. 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening. That is the first string. The second string of waiting well is the string of trust work. And trust work is not the same as positive thinking. Trust work is not the same as denial. Trust work is the active practice of returning your attention over and over to what you already know is true. Every time your mind tries to wander into what you are afraid might be true. Here is how it goes. Your mind, when you are close to a threshold, will start spinning scenarios. It will start generating worst-case versions of what the 3 days might hold. It will start telling you stories about how this could go wrong, or how you might be disappointed, or how the window might close without anything happening. That is just what minds do when they sense something big is approaching. They rehearse failure. They prepare for heartbreak. They try to protect you from hope by making the hope feel dangerous. Trust work is not about stopping those thoughts. You cannot stop them. That is not how the mind works. Trust work is about noticing them, acknowledging them gently, and then returning your attention deliberately to what you already know. What you already know is this: God has been working in you for years. That is documented. That is provable from your own life. God has been keeping you through things that should have broken you. That is documented. God has already moved in seasons past that you cannot deny. That is documented. Whatever the 3 days bring, the God who has been faithful up to this point is not a God who will abandon you in the last mile. So when the anxious thought comes, and it will come, your practice is to notice it. Say something like, "I hear you," and then gently return to what you already know. That is the movement. Acknowledge, return. Acknowledge, return. Every time your mind spins out, you walk it back, not with force, with patience, as many times as it takes. And here is something important. You will probably have to do this 20 or 30 times a day in the next several days. That is normal. That is not failure. Trust work is a muscle, and muscles strengthen through repetition. Every time you walk your mind back, you are teaching it a new pattern. And by the time April 24 arrives, the pattern will be established enough that the anxious scenarios will not have the grip on you that they used to. That is the second string. The third string of waiting well is the string of preparatory action, not frantic action, not striving, not trying to manufacture the breakthrough yourself. Preparatory action. Which is the kind of action you take in small doses, daily, that positions you to receive what is coming without trying to force it into being. Here is the principle. When you know a moed is approaching, you do not sit around doing nothing and wait for it to happen to you. That is not waiting well. That is passivity, and passivity is not the posture of a chosen one. But you also do not go out and try to make the moed happen yourself, which is striving, and striving is the exhaustion posture. Preparatory action is the middle. It is the rhythm of doing the small next thing that is in front of you, the one that is obviously yours, and leaving the big thing to heaven. What does that look like practically? It looks like taking care of your body. It looks like doing the work that is on your desk. It looks like returning the message that has been sitting in your inbox. It looks like clearing the small tasks that have been cluttering the edges of your days, so that when April 24 arrives, you are not distracted by 20 small things you should have handled already. It looks like doing whatever is in front of you, with presence and full attention, because every time you do the next thing well, you are training yourself to recognize the next right action when it arrives. And the moed is going to ask you for specific actions. Your capacity to hear them clearly depends on how well you are listening in the ordinary days leading up to the window. Stillness, trust, preparatory action, 3 strings, played together. Do not tune only one, tune all 3. That is the practice of waiting well. That is the first tool. The second tool is the practice of discernment. And discernment is going to be the single most important skill you deploy during the 3-day window, because both the real thing and the counterfeit of the real thing are going to present themselves to you in these days, and your job is to be able to tell them apart. Here is what I want you to understand about discernment before I walk you through the practice. Discernment is not a feeling. Discernment is not a hunch. Discernment is not a vibe. Discernment is a specific, trainable skill, and the reason most people do not have it is because nobody taught them how to work the muscle. So, let me teach you. Discernment works by contrast. You cannot tell a real signal from a fake signal if you have never felt either clearly. You have to calibrate. You have to know what the real feels like in your body and what the fake feels like, so that when a moment arrives, you can check the incoming signal against your own calibration and know immediately which one it is. Here is how you calibrate. I want you to think back in your own life to a moment when you made a decision that turned out to be deeply aligned, a decision that, even years later, you know was right. Not a decision that produced the outcome you wanted. A decision that was right regardless of the outcome. Everyone listening to me has at least one of these. Find one. Now, I want you to remember how that decision felt in the moment you made it, not after, in the moment. Most people, when they describe an aligned decision, describe a very specific combination of sensations. There was a kind of quiet. There was a settled feeling, even if the decision was difficult. There was no noise of self-justification in the background, no desperate trying to convince yourself, no frantic energy trying to rush the choice. Just a quiet yes. A settled yes. A yes that did not need defending. That is what aligned feels like. Aligned feels settled. Aligned feels quiet. Aligned does not need to argue with you. If a decision feels like that, it is probably from the right place. Now contrast that with another memory. I want you to remember a decision you made that turned out badly, one you regret. Not a decision that had a bad outcome, a decision that was wrong at the source. Find one. Now remember how that one felt in the moment you made it. almost always, the wrong decision is accompanied by a different set of sensations. There was a kind of push. There was a sense of urgency that did not match the size of the decision. There was noise in your head trying to convince you it was the right move. There was a frantic quality to the reasoning. There was maybe even a feeling of being rushed, like if you did not decide right now, the opportunity would pass. That urgency, that push, that noise, that is the signature of misalignment. It almost always feels like pressure. It almost always wants you to move fast. It almost always has some flavor of fear underneath the excitement. That is what misaligned feels like. It is loud. It is pushing. It does not rest. Now, here is the practice. Between now and April 24, and especially during the 3 days themselves, every time you face a decision, any decision, even small ones, pause for a moment and check the signal. Does this decision feel settled, or does it feel pushing? Does this feel quiet, or does it feel loud? Does this feel like a yes that can rest, or does it feel like a yes I am trying to convince myself of? That one question is the practice. Settled or pushing, quiet or loud, resting, yes, or anxious, yes. Do this 10 or 20 times a day in the next several days, even for small decisions like what to eat or what to say in a conversation or whether to reply to a message right now. You are not making those decisions matter cosmically. You are training your sensor. You are getting the muscle tuned. And by the time the 3-day window opens, when a big moment shows up, the sensor will already be awake and the read will come quickly, and you will know, almost immediately, whether the thing in front of you is the real door or the counterfeit. That is the second tool. The third tool is the one I want you to pay the most attention to, because this one is specifically designed for the 3-day window itself, and it requires a little more explanation. So, stay with me. I am going to give you something I call the 72-hour attention protocol. The 72-hour attention protocol is a simple 3-phase practice that carries you from the days leading up to April 24 through the end of April 26. It has 3 phases because the 3 days have 3 different functions and each phase matches its day. Let me walk you through them. The first phase is called the sweep, and it happens before April 24. Ideally, you do this sweep in the 24 hours before the window opens. Here is what the sweep is. You take 30 minutes, you find a quiet space where you can be uninterrupted, and you do an honest inventory of everything that is currently occupying your attention. Everything. The list does not have to be pretty. The list does not have to be organized. You just want to surface onto paper or into your notes app or into whatever private space you can use, all the things that are currently renting space in your head. The open projects, the unresolved relationships, the lingering tasks, the worries that have not been addressed, the hopes that have been hovering, the grievances that have not been processed. All of it. In one pass. 30 minutes. No editing. Just get it out of your head and into a place where it is no longer running background processes in your mind. The reason you do this before the window is simple. You cannot walk into a sacred gathering with your arms full of groceries. You have to set the groceries down first. The sweep is setting the groceries down. You are not solving any of those things in 30 minutes. You are just moving them from the inside of your head to the outside, so your head has room for what is coming. That is the first phase. The second phase is called the shrink, and this one is counter to what most people would expect, which is why I have to explain it carefully. The shrink happens during April 24 and April 25, and here is what the shrink is. During those 2 days, you are going to intentionally reduce your external input by at least 50%. Less news, less social media, less podcasts, less background noise, less random consumption of other people's voices, half as much as you usually take in. I know that is the opposite of what the instinct wants to do. The instinct wants to consume more during a big window. The instinct wants to check the news, check the updates, check the inbox, check what everyone else is saying, in case some signal is coming through one of those channels. But here is the thing. The signal that is coming for you on April 24 and 25 is not going to come through the news. It is not going to come through the inbox. It is going to come through the quiet, and if the quiet is not there, the signal will not have a place to land. So you shrink the input deliberately for 2 days. You are not going to miss anything important. Whatever matters will find you. The news will still be there on the 27th. The messages will still be there. The updates will still be there. They are not going anywhere. What you are protecting is the interior space in which the release and the revelation can actually be registered by you. That is the point of the shrink. That is the second phase. The third phase is called the scan, and the scan happens across all 3 days and especially intensifies on April 26. Here is how the scan works. Every day, at the end of the day, you write down exactly 3 observations. 3. Not 5. Not 10. 3. And the 3 observations are your honest answers to one question. What did I notice today that I might have missed if I had not been paying attention? That question is doing something specific. It is training your mind to become a recorder instead of a performer. Most minds, at the end of the day, try to perform. They try to summarize. They try to evaluate. They try to judge how the day went. But the scan does not ask you to evaluate. The scan asks you to notice. What did I notice today? 3 things. Over 3 days, that adds up to 9 observations. 9 small noticings. 9 moments when something caught your attention enough to survive the filter of your day. And here is what is going to happen when you read the 9 at the end of the window. One of them, maybe 2, will be repeating. The same theme will surface across multiple days. The same image will appear more than once. The same word will keep showing up. The repeating observation is the signal. The thing your spirit was trying to make sure you saw. The thing the mode was pointing at. So to recap the 72-hour attention protocol, you sweep before the window, you shrink input during the first 2 days, and you scan every day for 3 specific observations, 9 in total. That practice, done over the 3 days, will give you more usable insight about what heaven is doing for you than 1,000 podcasts ever could, because it trains you to notice what is actually being delivered to you instead of what you think should be. That is the third tool. Now, I want to pause, because I know I just gave you a lot. 3 tools: stillness, discernment, and the 72-hour protocol. And if you listened carefully, you will have noticed that none of them require you to perform. None of them require you to strive. None of them require you to push. They all require the opposite. They require you to slow down, to notice, to become less busy, not more. And that is where the obstacle is going to show up for most of you, because the instinct you have been trained into by the modern world is the opposite of what these 3 tools are asking of you. The modern instinct wants you to produce harder, strive more, fill every minute, prove that you deserve the thing you are asking for. The modern instinct is going to fight you on every one of these tools. The modern instinct is the obstacle, so let me name it plainly. The obstacle is the impulse to force the window open by trying harder. The obstacle is the pull to push the mode into arriving sooner by exerting yourself. The obstacle is the old voice that says, if you just do more, work more, strain more, earn more, the thing will come faster. That voice has been running your life for years. It is why you are exhausted. And it is going to try, over the next several days, to hijack everything I just taught you by convincing you that waiting well is lazy, that discernment is slow, that the 72-hour protocol is not enough, that you need to do something more. I want to give that old voice a different set of instructions. I want to speak over that voice, right now, a sequence of permissions, and I want you to let each one land. Do not speed through these. Let each one sit in your spirit. You are allowed to wait without manufacturing. You are allowed to not know the exact timing of what is coming. You are allowed to receive what you have been working for without guilt. You are allowed to rest inside the hinge instead of white-knuckling it. You are allowed to stop trying to force what is already being arranged. You are allowed to protect your energy during these 3 days, even if that means disappointing people who are used to your availability. You are allowed to become harder to reach when something holy is arriving. Let those land. Read them again in your spirit if you need to. They are not suggestions, they are permissions. They are the permissions that the version of you that has been striving for years has been needing to hear, and nobody has given them to you, so I am giving them to you now. Receive them. Now let me breathe with you for a moment. I know that was a lot. I have been speaking to you for well over an hour now, and I have given you a significant amount of teaching to hold. And before I continue, I want to acknowledge the simple fact that you have stayed with me this long. You did not scroll. You did not click away. You did not let your attention get pulled somewhere else. You have been present for every minute of this. And that kind of presence is becoming rare in the world we are living in. So before I say another word, I want to thank you. Thank you for staying. Thank you for listening, like this matters, because it does. And thank you for trusting me with your time. Just one breath here. Nothing to receive, nothing to release. Just breathe. In, out, one breath, and then I will continue. Okay, here is where we are. I have given you the map of the 3 days. I have given you the 3 tools for the practice, and I have given you the permissions that quiet the old voice. What remains in this message is the most important piece, and I want to be honest with you about what it is, because I do not want you to miss the transition that is about to happen. Before I can walk you into the closing of this message, and before I can speak the declaration I promised you at the beginning, there is one more thing I need to reveal, and I have been holding it back on purpose, because you were not ready for it until now. But now you are, and what comes next is the truest thing I have said in this entire message, and it is going to require you to receive it with a different kind of attention than anything that has come before. So stay with me, do not drift. What is about to arrive is the heart of why I was sent to bring you this word in the first place. Welcome back, Chosen One. Before I continue, I need to slow everything down. I have given you a lot in the last several sections. I have given you the map of the 3 days. I have given you the meaning of Moed. I have given you the 5 recognition signs. I have given you 3 practical tools. And I do not want all of that to blur together in your mind, because if it blurs, you will walk away from this message feeling moved but unclear, and I do not want that for you. So before I say anything else, I want to gather what I have given you into plain, simple language, the way a teacher would at the end of a long lesson, so that you leave here with a clean picture of what you actually know now. Stay with me for the next few minutes. This part is not emotional. This part is grounded. and you need the grounding before the rest of what is coming. Here is why these 3 days matter for you specifically. You have been walking through a long season that did 2 things to you at the same time. It took things out of you that were never supposed to stay, and it made space inside you for things that had not yet arrived. That season is almost over. April 24, 25, and 26 are the specific dates I believe mark the transition from that long preparation into the first visible evidence of what you were being prepared for. That is why these 3 days matter, not because the calendar is magical, but because your interior season has been converging with a window that has been moving toward you for a long time, and now the two are about to meet. Here is what you know now that you did not know before you started listening to this. You know that your waiting was not wasted. You know that the silence you walked through was not rejection, it was synchronization. You know that the 3 days each have a specific function: release on the 24th, revelation on the 25th, reception on the 26th. You know that the Hebrew word for what is happening in these days is moed, and moed means a fixed sacred appointment, not a general window. You know the 5 signs that confirm you are the one these days were scheduled for. And you know the 3 practical tools: stillness, discernment, and the 72-hour attention protocol that position you to receive what is being delivered. That is what you know. And here is who you are becoming. You are becoming a person who can wait without manufacturing, see without forcing, and receive without gripping. You are becoming someone whose interior has been hollowed out exactly enough to hold what is being poured in. You are becoming the version of yourself that the scaffolding was covering up for years, and the 3 days are the window in which that version gets to step into the room and take her seat. That is who you are becoming. Hold those 3 things: why it matters, what you know, who you are becoming. If nothing else from this message sticks, those 3 things are enough. Everything else is support for those 3. Now, I want to come back to something I mentioned earlier, and I want to tell you more about it, because there is a scientific layer to all of this that I have been circling around, and I think you are ready to hear it clearly now. 3 decades of research in a handful of laboratories around the world, places like MIT and Princeton, and a few others that most people have not heard of, have been quietly mapping something inside the human brain that turns out to explain almost everything I have been walking you through spiritually in this message. The thing they have been mapping is a specific brainwave pattern called gamma. Gamma is the frequency the brain operates at during moments of insight, intuition, deep recognition, and what athletes sometimes call flow. It is the frequency that children run on almost constantly when they are young, which is why children seem to learn everything effortlessly, why they make connections adults miss, why their sense of wonder is so immediate and intact. The problem is that somewhere around the age of 7, for reasons that have to do with modern education, modern nutrition, modern environments, and the general noise of contemporary life, the gamma frequency starts to dim. Not disappear. Dim. It stops being the dominant frequency and becomes the exception. And the longer a person lives in the modern world, the dimmer gamma tends to become, until most adults are walking around with only the faintest trace of the frequency that used to be their baseline. Researchers have a name for this process. They call it the decline effect. It is not a spiritual theory. It is an observable, measurable, documented neurological pattern. And here is what is relevant to you. The people who feel most strongly that something essential was lost somewhere between childhood and now The people who keep having a vague but persistent sense that they used to have a kind of aliveness that has gone missing, the people we would call chosen ones in the language of this channel, are the ones whose gamma was strongest to begin with. So when the decline effect hits, it hits them harder than it hits other people. The distance between who they used to be and who they have become is bigger because they had more to lose. That is why the waiting season I have been describing to you feels the way it feels. You were not born ordinary. You were born with a frequency above the average, and when the modern world dimmed it, you felt the dimming more sharply than most people around you felt theirs. Now here is the part I want you to hear. Dr. Robert Lake, the researcher I mentioned earlier, spent 34 years studying this exact problem, and what he eventually developed is a specific audio track designed to reactivate the gamma frequency in the adult brain through a principle called brain entrainment. Brain entrainment is the phenomenon where the brain, when exposed to certain precisely calibrated sound patterns, begins to match its own activity to the pattern it is hearing. Within a few minutes, the brain shifts its dominant wave into alignment with the incoming signal. It is not magic. It is simply how the nervous system responds to tuned input. And what Dr. Lake discovered is that you can use brain entrainment to gently guide an adult brain back into the gamma range in roughly 7 minutes a day, not through meditation, not through willpower, not through any form of effort. Just by listening with headphones while sitting still, the gamma frequency comes back online, gradually, the way a lamp comes back on when the current returns to a circuit that had been dormant. Remember, a while ago, I told you I would come back to something I had mentioned. This is it. I told you there was a tool for exactly the state many of you are in, and I told you the door was in the description below and the pinned comment. Now I want to tell you the full story of what this tool actually does, so that you understand why it exists and why I am mentioning it in the middle of a message about MOED windows, because they are connected more tightly than they look. You were not born ordinary. Chosen ones carry the gamma frequency above baseline from birth, and it is the reason you learned faster than your peers when you were young. It is the reason you felt things more deeply than the children around you. It is the reason adults sometimes looked at you differently without being able to say why. And it is the reason the dimming of that frequency has cost you more than it has cost other people. When Dr. Lake first started putting this work together, he was not thinking about chosen ones. He was thinking about high performers who had lost their edge. But what he found over the years is that the people who respond most quickly and most deeply to the reactivation are the people whose gamma was strongest to begin with. That is not a coincidence. That is your signature coming back online. Let me tell you about a woman I want you to think about. I am not going to use her name because she did not give me permission to use it publicly, but she wrote to me a while ago about her experience, and her story stayed with me because it did not match the usual pattern. She was a manager at a financial firm, 47 years old, and she had been using the tool for 18 days without feeling anything she could identify as a shift. She was ready to ask for her money back. She had actually opened the refund email on day 20, and something in her spirit, she said, told her to give it 2 more weeks, not because she believed it would work, but because she was curious. By day 34, she noticed, not dramatically, but undeniably, that the stuck feeling she had been carrying at work for over a year had lifted. A decision she had been postponing for months had been made the previous week without any of the usual anguish. Her sleep was deeper. There was no single eureka moment. She just woke up one morning and realized her life had quietly become different. Patience, she said, had been the entire key. Some people respond in a few days. Others take 3 or 4 weeks for the gamma pathways to fully reactivate. Both patterns are normal. Neither one is failure. Now, I want to speak to what may be rising inside you as I say all of this, because I know some of you have reservations, and I respect them. Some of you have tried everything: meditation apps, yoga retreats, healing sounds, devotional programs, and you have been disappointed enough times that a part of you is bracing for this to be one more thing in that list. I want to be honest with you. It is not the same kind of thing. Meditation and visualization and all of those practices ask your brain to change itself from the inside, slowly, through sustained effort over long periods. Brain entrainment works on a completely different mechanism. It changes the brain from the outside through precisely calibrated sound, rapidly and measurably. It is not another version of what you have tried. It is a different category. That is the first thing I wanted to name. The second thing, some of you are wondering if this sounds too good to be true. I understand that reaction. It is the reaction of an intelligent person who has been disappointed before. But I want you to notice something. What I am describing to you is not a claim I invented. It is the documented result of decades of research at peer-reviewed institutions, measured with EEG equipment, repeated across thousands of subjects. Over 18,000 people have now used this audio track, and fewer than 4% have ever requested a refund, which means the overwhelming majority of the people who have experienced it have kept using it long after their guarantee window closed. That is not a testimonial. That is data. And the third thing, which I want to address directly, because I know it is sitting in some of your minds right now. Some of you are thinking, $39 is not a small amount for me. I want you to hear me. I would never disrespect your situation by waving that off. If $39 is a real consideration for you, it is a real consideration, and I will not pretend otherwise. Give me 30 seconds to reframe what $39 is actually buying. Most people who pursue this kind of clarity pay for it in other ways. A single therapy session costs around $150, and it takes many of them to move the needle on anything significant. A weekend retreat costs between $400 and $800. A meditation app subscription costs around $15 every month, forever, for a practice that most people stop doing within 3 weeks. A biofeedback therapy clinic charges around $300 per session, and a typical course of treatment is weeks of repeated visits. None of those options, and I want you to hear this clearly, none of those options target the gamma frequency specifically. They target adjacent things: calming, stress reduction, insight, but not the specific frequency that got dimmed by the decline effect. What Dr. Lake created is $39, one time, not a subscription, not a monthly fee, not a recurring charge. One single payment for an audio track you keep forever and can use for the rest of your life. Plus, because of the way the offer was structured, you also receive 4 bonus pieces at no extra cost. A version of the track calibrated for children before the decline effect has fully taken hold. A classic book on financial principles that most people have never heard of. A 22-minute guided visualization that covers 4 life domains, and a 5-habit infographic with the daily practices of people who keep their gamma activated long-term. Those 4 bonuses are worth $80 if purchased separately, and they come free with the main track. And behind all of it sits a 60-day guarantee. If at any point in the first 60 days you decide this is not for you, you get every dollar back, no questions asked, and you keep all 4 bonuses anyway. That is not a sales trick. That is Dr. Lake's way of saying, if this does not move you, I do not want your money, and I am not going to penalize you for trying. Now listen to me carefully. Every day that goes by while your gamma is still dimmed is not a neutral day. It is a day your decisions are being made at reduced capacity. It is a day your prayers are being generated from a lower frequency than they were designed to broadcast on. It is a day your intuition is running at 30% of what it was meant to do. I am not saying this to pressure you. I am saying it because it is the truth that most people do not realize. The cost of waiting on something like this is not zero. It is the cost of another week of your life run at the wrong frequency. And the version of you that has already stepped into the moed, the version of you on the other side of April 26, is looking back at this moment right now and asking you to make the choice that serves her. She is not asking you to be perfect about it. She is asking you to take the next small step that makes her arrival possible. Before I say anything else, one more thing I owe you. There are several counterfeit versions of this audio track floating around on the internet. I have seen them appear on marketplaces and streaming platforms and social media ads, and they use similar names, sometimes the exact name, but they do not contain the actual brain entrainment technology. They are just ordinary audio tracks dressed up to look like the real thing. The only place to receive the original with the full technology, the 4 bonuses, and the 60-day guarantee is through the link in the description of this message and in the pinned comment. Please do not go searching for it on other platforms. You will not find the real version there. Only the link below gives you what Dr. Lake actually created. The Genius Song. That is the name. If your spirit has been pulling you toward it through this message, the link is where it has been the entire time, waiting for you. Only open the door if you feel led. No pressure. The message continues either way. Now, let me pull us back into the heart of what I have been saying, because the tool I just described is one piece, and I do not want you to mistake the piece for the whole message. The whole message is about you, and about the 3 days, and about the declaration I promised you at the beginning. Everything else exists to serve that. So let me bring us back. Think again of the earth in April. Think of the soil that has been frozen all winter and is finally warming. Think of the seeds that have been buried in the dark for months and are finally beginning to crack open and are finally pushing the first small green fingers through the surface of the ground. The earth is not striving to produce the green. The earth is not gripping the seed. The earth is not forcing the seasons to turn. The earth is simply receiving what the sun is offering and letting the warmth travel deep enough to wake up what has been asleep. That is your posture. Not striving, receiving, not gripping. Letting the warmth reach the seed. The 3 days are the warmth. You are the earth. Let the green come. Now I want to speak to the last piece of resistance that may still be inside you, because I know it is there, and I want to address it before we move into the final portion of this message. The last piece of resistance is the quiet voice that says, "What if none of this is real for me? What if everyone else this message is reaching will experience what you are describing, and I will be the exception? What if my window does not open? What if I have been hoping for something that is not actually coming?" That voice. I want to speak to that voice now, because if I do not, it will eat the next few days of your life, and I refuse to let that happen. Here is what I want you to understand about that voice. That voice is not telling you the truth. That voice is telling you the fear. Those are different things. The fear feels like truth because fear is loud and truth is often quiet. But fear is just the echo of every time you have been disappointed before, and it is trying to protect you from being disappointed again by preparing you for the worst outcome in advance. That is not protection, that is preemptive grief. And preemptive grief is one of the most expensive emotions a chosen one can indulge, because it robs you of every moment before the outcome arrives, in the name of preparing you for an outcome that may not even come. You do not need to prepare for disappointment. Disappointment, if it comes, will not be softer because you rehearsed it. It will not be easier to carry. The rehearsal does not help you. The rehearsal just poisons the waiting. So I want to take that voice gently by the hand and set it down. Acknowledge it. Thank it for trying to protect you. And then step past it, because the 3 days are going to move whether or not that voice has its permission, and your job is not to argue with the voice. Your job is to stay available to what is moving anyway. Some of you need to hear this even more directly. The voice inside you that says, "What if I am the exception?" is not special. That voice has spoken inside every person who has ever been near a moed in the history of the scriptures. Esther had that voice before she walked into the throne room. Moses had that voice before he went to Pharaoh. Ruth had that voice before she went to the threshing floor. Every single one of them heard the voice, nodded to it, and kept walking. You are not the first to hear it, and you are not the first to be asked to keep walking anyway. What makes the chosen ones who actually receive different from the ones who miss is not that they did not hear the voice. It is that they walked despite the voice. That is the only difference. So, when the voice speaks, do not argue with it. Do not even try to silence it. Just keep walking. The walking is the answer. And here is what I want you to know. The voice is going to get louder in the next few days, not because you are doing something wrong, because you are doing something right. The voice always gets louder the closer you get to the door, because the voice is not the part of you that wants to receive. The voice is the part of you that has adapted to not receiving, and that part has a whole identity built around expectation management, and that part feels threatened when a real arrival is approaching, because a real arrival means that part has to be rewritten. So, when the voice gets loud in the next few days, do not panic. That loudness is a confirmation that you are close. The voice does not fire when nothing is coming. The voice fires when something is coming. Read the loudness as a signal, not as a problem. Now, breathe with me. The hardest parts of this message are behind us. You have come a very long way. You have sat with me through the mapping of 3 days, the meaning of moed, the 5 recognition signs, the 3 practical tools, and the handing off of the tool I was sent to hand you. What remains in this message is the gentlest section of all, and I want to prepare you for what is coming, because the closing of this message is going to be different in texture from everything that came before. I am going to take you through a short mental walkthrough to help you place yourself inside the threshold image I gave you earlier, because images are how the spirit remembers instructions, and I want you to leave here with one image that your spirit can return to during the 3 days. Then I am going to speak the declaration I promised you at the beginning, and that declaration is the reason this message was placed in front of you in the first place. It is not a generic blessing. It is a specific word I believe the Father asked me to deliver in person. Stay with me for it. What you receive in the closing is the whole reason I was sent. Take a breath with me. The hardest part of this message is behind us. The teaching is delivered. The map is drawn. The tool has been placed in your hands. What remains now is the gentlest, and in some ways the most important portion of the message. And I want you to arrive here, present. So, if you have been tensing through any of the last hour, let your shoulders drop a little. Let your jaw soften. Let the tension in your chest come down a notch. We are going to walk the rest of this together at a different pace. Before I take you into what I want to give you next, I want to say something that I think some of you need to hear right now, more than anything else I have said in this entire message. You are not alone in this. I want you to really let that land, because I know how isolated the waiting has been for most of you. I know how many of these hours you have walked through in silence, how many prayers you have whispered into rooms where no one else was awake, how many times you have felt like you were the only one in your circle who seemed to be carrying this specific kind of weight. I know, and I am telling you, with full certainty, that right now, all across the world, in kitchens and cars and bedrooms and parks and waiting rooms and early morning walks, there are chosen ones, just like you, receiving this same word at this same moment, feeling the same recognition, having the same spirit-level confirmation that the 3 days are for them too. You are part of something, a group you did not sign up for but have always belonged to, a gathering you were placed in before you were born, an unseen company of people whose interior lives share a specific shape, whose wilderness seasons have matched yours, whose hopes have survived the same kinds of deaths and refused to stay dead. You thought you were walking alone because you could not see them. They could not see you either. But the moed gathers its own, the window calls its people, and the people who are supposed to cross the threshold with you are being woken up right now, in the same hour, at the same message, to the same assignment. If that has ever been true, it is true today. And somewhere in your life, in the days ahead, you are going to meet or reconnect with or recognize one of them. Someone whose story mirrors yours in a way that makes you both pause. Someone who says a sentence that lands inside you like they had been reading your journal. Someone who, when you speak to them about what is happening inside you, does not look at you like you are strange, because they are having the same experience. When you meet them, know that you were not sent to them by accident, and when they meet you, know the same. The chosen ones are finding each other again. That is part of what these 3 days are for. Now, I want to show you who you are, because the message has been circling around this from the beginning, but I want to say it plainly before we close. The identity you have been carrying most of your life was smaller than the one you were actually made for. The identity most people see when they look at you is smaller than the one heaven sees when it looks at you, and the version of you that is about to walk into April 24, 25, and 26 is not the version your circle has been relating to for the last several years. It is a larger version, a more accurate version, a version that the scaffolding was hiding. And because that version is about to become more visible than it has ever been, I want to name what it carries. Because you cannot step into an identity you cannot name. So I am going to name 5 of them for you, 5 aspects of who you actually are, and I want you to feel them as I describe them. Do not just listen with your ears. Listen with the part of you that knows, because some of these are going to ring like a bell inside your chest, and the ones that ring are the ones you are meant to step into most fully during this window. The first thing I want to tell you about who you are is that you are the one who restores hope to the ones who have stopped hoping. You carry a specific kind of energy that reminds other people that their dreams were real. You do not do this by talking about hope. You do this by being in the room. Your presence recalibrates something in the people around you. They do not always know why, but after they have spent time near you, they find themselves believing again in something they had quietly given up on. That is not an accident. That is a function. It is stitched into the way you were made. You are the hope restorer. And one of the reasons the wilderness was so heavy on you is because hope restorers carry the weight of other people's collapsed hope, whether they realize it or not. For years you have been absorbing the discouragement in the rooms you walked into, and carrying it, and quietly processing it, because that is what your kind does. The 3 days ahead are going to reorganize this. You are going to stop absorbing and start transmitting. You are going to stop carrying other people's lost hope as a burden and start radiating restored hope as your default frequency. People are going to walk into rooms where you already are and feel something lift in them that they cannot explain. That is, you stepping into who you actually are. The second thing I want to tell you about who you are is that you are the one who sees what others cannot see. You perceive patterns other people miss. You feel shifts in atmospheres other people cannot register. You know things about situations and about people before anyone around you has caught up. And for years, this capacity has been a burden to you because you have lived in environments where the seeing was not welcome, where people looked at you strangely when you tried to name what you were noticing, where you started to doubt your own perception because nobody around you would confirm what you were picking up. I want you to stop discounting it. That seeing is not a personality quirk. That seeing is a gift. It was built into you for a reason. And the reason is that heaven needs people on the ground who can spot the shifts early, who can recognize the counterfeit before it fully dresses itself up, who can sense when an environment is turning before the turning is visible. You were sharpened through years of having to trust your seeing even when no one believed you, and that sharpening was preparation. In the 3 days ahead, your seeing is going to become one of the most important assets you carry into the window. Things are going to happen that other people will experience as confusion, and you are going to experience them as clarity, because you were trained to see in low light. You are the seer. You have always been the seer. You just did not have permission to own it until now. The third thing I want to tell you about who you are is that you are the bridge. You are the one who stands between worlds that do not know how to speak to each other, and you translate. You bridge generations that have lost the language to understand one another. You bridge communities that would never meet without you. You bridge the spiritual and the practical in ways that let people who only speak one language still receive something from the other. You have always been drawn, without quite knowing why, to situations and relationships where two things that did not fit together needed someone to hold both at the same time and create passage between them. That calling has cost you. Bridges carry traffic. Bridges feel the weight of every crossing. And there have been seasons when you felt like too many people were walking over you and you did not have the words for why you were so tired, because you did not understand that the tiredness was the work itself being done through you. I want to tell you something about the bridge identity that is going to matter in the days ahead. Bridges are reinforced before the heaviest traffic arrives. That is exactly what your interior has been going through. The reinforcement has been happening while you felt the strain. And now, as the 3 days approach, the reinforcement is complete, and you are going to be asked to hold more, to connect more, to translate more than you ever have. But you are going to do it from strength rather than from strain. You are the bridge, and the architecture of your spirit has been rebuilt for a heavier load. The fourth thing I want to tell you about who you are is that you are the one who goes first. You are a pioneer. You step into places no one else is willing to step into. You try things that have not been tried in your bloodline. You pick up responsibilities no one in your family was strong enough to carry. You make decisions that break patterns that had been repeating for generations, and you make them alone, because by definition, no one in your lineage has done what you are doing. That kind of going first is lonely, and it is often misunderstood. The people around you, including people who love you, often cannot tell the difference between a pioneer and a person who is running away. They tell you that you are leaving them behind. They tell you that you are changing. They tell you that you think you are better than them. None of that is true. You were not leaving them. You were clearing a path. You were going first so that the ones behind you would have someone to follow. Pioneers always look like rebels to the people who do not yet understand what they are doing. In the 3 days ahead, you are going to take another step that looks like rebellion to some of the people around you. A choice, a direction, a commitment, a closing of one door and an opening of another. And some of the people around you are going to push back, not because what you are doing is wrong, but because it is unfamiliar. I want to tell you now, so that when the pushback comes, you can recognize it for what it is. It is the discomfort of people who are not yet ready to walk where you are about to walk. It is not a sign that you are wrong. It is a sign that you are first. And first is lonely until the others catch up. They will catch up. They always do. But that is their timeline, not yours. You keep walking. The fifth thing I want to tell you about who you are is that you are the one who stands in the gap. You are an intercessor. You carry other people on your spirit without being asked to. You pray for people who do not know you are praying for them. You feel the weight of situations that have nothing officially to do with you, because something about your soul will not let you put those situations down, and you end up interceding in a room where you are the only one carrying the burden, and the burden is heavy, and nobody sees you doing it. I want you to know something. That interceding has not been wasted. Every prayer you have whispered for someone else, even when you did not know what you were saying, even when you wondered if the prayers were doing anything at all, has been reaching the one who listens. And more than you realize, the turnarounds you have watched in other people's lives over the last several years were related to the praying you did when no one was watching. You moved things from inside your closet that you do not yet know you moved. The intercessor is a hidden office. The world does not award it, but heaven does. And heaven has been keeping track of every unseen prayer. In the 3 days ahead, the intercessor in you is going to be given something specific, a clarity about which prayers, which people, which situations your voice is meant to carry forward into the next season. You are not going to keep carrying all of them. Some of them are going to be released from you. Others are going to be sharpened. You are going to know, by the end of April 26, which intercessions are yours to keep and which ones were never yours to hold in the first place. That is the gift being given to the intercessor. A more accurate load, a more focused assignment, less burden, more precision. You will feel it when it happens. Now I want you to hold all 5 of those together for a moment, because they are not 5 separate people. They are 5 aspects of one person. They are 5 aspects of you. The hope restorer, the seer, the bridge, the pioneer, and the intercessor, all living inside the same body, all activating more fully in these 3 days than they have ever activated before. I want you to speak something with me in your spirit as I say it. You do not have to say it out loud, especially if you are somewhere where that is not possible. Just let the words move through your mind and settle into your chest as I speak them. Take one inhale and ride that breath as you receive each line. I am the hope restorer, and what I carry wakes up what has fallen asleep in the people around me, and that is not coincidence. I am the seer, and what I perceive is real, and my discernment is sharpened, and what I see has been given to me for reasons I am beginning to understand, and that is not coincidence. I am the bridge, and the architecture of my spirit was reinforced through the long seasons, and I am ready to carry the weight of the crossings that are coming, and that is not coincidence. I am the pioneer, and I was built to go first, and the path I am making is for the ones who are coming behind me, and that is not coincidence. I am the intercessor, and my prayers have been heard, and the carrying I have done was not invisible. and the new assignment is approaching, and that is not coincidence. Hold those 5 sentences in you for a moment. They are not something I invented and handed to you. They are something that was already true about you, that I just finally said out loud. And if you felt something inside you move as I spoke any of them, mark that movement. The movement is your confirmation. The 5 you felt most strongly are the 5 you are meant to step into most fully in the days ahead. Before we close, I want to tell you about someone. I am not going to use her name because her story was shared with me privately and she deserves the protection of her privacy. But I want to tell you what she walked through because it is going to give you a picture of what it looks like to prepare for a mode properly. And I want you to hold her example in your mind as you walk into the 3 days ahead. She had been waiting for 6 years. 6. A relationship and a calling that had been promised to her in a moment she could describe in detail. She had carried that promise through every kind of disappointment. The promise had outlived 3 false starts. 2 people who had almost been the one but turned out not to be. A business venture that collapsed in its 2nd year, and a long stretch of feeling forgotten by the God who had spoken to her. By year 5, she was not sure she still believed the promise had been real. She would not say that out loud to anyone, but inside herself the belief had gone quiet, and she was functioning on habit more than on hope. Then something happened that she could not explain. A sense began to build inside her that a window was approaching. She did not know what kind of window. She did not know when it would arrive. She just started noticing that she was restless in a way she had not been restless in years. And the restlessness was not anxious, it was expectant, and she did not know what to do with it because she had forgotten what expectation felt like. What she did next is the part I want you to hold. She did not rush out into her life trying to make the breakthrough happen. She did not start forcing conversations. She did not start manipulating opportunities. She did something different. She took 40 days, 40 quiet days, and she used them to prepare. Not prepare the outcome, prepare herself. She slowed everything down. She cleared her calendar of the things she had been doing out of obligation rather than purpose. She wrote down, by hand, every prayer she could remember, praying across those 6 years. She reread old journals. She let herself grieve the versions of her life that had not arrived. She practiced stillness, not as a technique, but as a daily rhythm. And most importantly, she stopped trying to manage how God was going to deliver on the promise. She just made herself available. 40 days later, the window opened, not on a schedule she picked, on a schedule she had no control over. And what arrived was not exactly the shape of what she had imagined. It was better. It was specific to who she had actually become in the 6 years of waiting, rather than who she had been at the beginning of them. If the window had opened in year 2, she would not have been able to hold what arrived. If it had opened in year 4, she would have tried to force it to look like what she had wanted at the beginning. Because it opened in year 6, she received it exactly as it was, and it fit her, and it fit the life she had been quietly becoming without knowing it. Here is the part I want you to hear most, she said to me, and I am paraphrasing because I am not going to quote her directly. She said that the secret of what happened in her story was not that she chased what was coming. She became the kind of vessel that could hold it. That is the sentence. She did not chase. She became, and the becoming was the whole work. That is what the years have been doing in you. You have not been chasing, you have been becoming. And by the time April 24 arrives, the becoming will be complete enough to hold what is coming. You do not need to reach for it, you need to be ready for it. Those are different motions. Reaching is the old posture, readiness is the new one. Put the reaching down. Let the readiness speak for you. Now look at the calendar again. Look at the dates one more time. April 24, April 25, April 26. I want you to notice something about those numbers that I have not said yet. Those dates fall in the exact part of the year when the Earth itself crosses its own threshold. In the Northern Hemisphere, the last hard frost in most places has just passed. The trees that looked bare all winter are pushing out their first leaves. The ground that was frozen in February is workable again. The light is lasting longer in the evenings, not by a few minutes like earlier in the spring, but by significant stretches. Something in the physical world is catching up to what has already been true in the unseen for weeks. Your life is doing the same thing. The interior shift has already happened. The physical catch-up is what is arriving on those 3 days. What has been true in the hidden part of your spirit for a long time is about to become true in the visible part of your life. The world around you is about to start looking the way your spirit has already been for months. The outside is about to finally match the inside, and when it does, you are not going to recognize it as a miracle. You are going to recognize it as a completion. The green was already under there. The sun finally came. Now breathe with me once more, because we are about to step into the final portion of this message. I have saved the most important piece for last, and I did that on purpose. What is coming next is the reason I was sent to deliver this word in the first place. It is the sealing of everything I have said. It is the declaration I promised you at the very beginning of this message, and it is specific, and it carries weight, and I want you to arrive in it ready to receive it. So, before I step into the closing, remember the story of Esther that I told you in the opening. Remember the orphan who was gathered up into a corridor she did not choose. Remember the 12 months of preparation she did not know she was in. Remember the 3-day fast she called before she walked into the throne room. Remember the sentence that came to her through Mordecai, "For such a time as this." I want you to receive that sentence now, over your own life, with your own name in the middle of it, and, with the 3 days ahead of you, standing in for the throne room she walked into, the years you did not understand, the preparation you did not choose, the corridors that brought you here. All of it was for such a time as this, and such a time as this is 3 days away. Stay with me for the closing. What I am about to do is exactly what I was sent to do, and the reason this message ever reached you is waiting in the next few minutes. Chosen one, I need you to do something with me for the next few minutes. Not an exercise, not homework, something simpler than that. I want to walk you into an image, and I want you to let the image place itself inside you the way a photograph settles into a frame, so that in the hours and days ahead, when your mind drifts and starts searching for an anchor, this image will be the thing it returns to. You do not have to do anything special to receive this. Just stay with me. Let my voice guide you, and let the picture form at whatever speed it forms in your mind. Wherever you are right now, sitting or lying down or standing, it does not matter. I want you to let your eyes rest. If they are open, let them soften, the way a camera lens softens when it stops trying to focus. If they are closed, let them stay closed, but let the holding go out of the eyelids. Nothing tight, nothing working, just a quiet settling of the part of you that watches the world. Now I want you to picture a door. Not a dramatic door, not a door from a movie, just an ordinary wooden door, the kind that exists in 1,000 ordinary houses. It has a frame, it has hinges, it has a handle, and the handle is the kind that turns, slowly, when a hand is placed on it with intention. See the door clearly. Let it have a color, whatever color comes to you first. Let it have a texture. Let it have a shape. Do not force it. Let the door arrive. Now, notice where the door is. It is not indoors. It is standing in a landscape. Around the door, there is ground, and the ground is the ground of early April. Some of it is still hard from the cold. Some of it is softening. Small green pieces are starting to show in the soil, not everywhere, but in patches, pushing up through the places where the frost is giving way. The air is cool, but not cold. The light is the light of dawn, the kind that has not yet warmed into full day, but is past the point where you would call it night. There is a quiet all around the door. Nothing is rushing. Everything is waiting. Now see yourself standing in front of the door, not inside a dream body, in your actual body, the body you have right now, the body that has carried you through the years. See yourself standing there, with all of your history, all of your waiting, all of your prayers, all of your disappointments, and your hope, standing in front of this door, on this ground, in this dawn. And now look at your hand. In your hand, you are holding a key. The key was not given to you by anyone else. It was in your hand the whole time. You just did not look down, until now. The key is worn smooth by the years of it being carried. Some parts of it have been shaped by things you chose. Other parts of it have been shaped by things that happened to you. But the whole key, the complete shape of it, is the exact shape of the lock on this door. You did not carve the key to fit the door. The door was built to receive this exact key. Now notice the handle of the door. The handle is starting to turn. It is not you turning it, not yet. Something on the other side is beginning to move it, slowly, the way handles move when a door is opening from the opposite side. You can hear, very faintly, the mechanism of the lock beginning to release. And you understand, in the way you understand things in images rather than words, that the door is preparing to open, and when it opens, you will not have to push it. You will only have to walk. Now feel something settle in you, not a physical sensation, a kind of settling that happens in the center of the chest when a long worry finally puts itself down. The waiting is nearly over. The key fits. The door is moving. You are where you are supposed to be, and the ground beneath your feet, even the parts that still look frozen, is carrying green underneath it that is preparing to come up. Hold this image. Let it settle. Let it become a place your mind knows how to return to. And as I continue speaking, carry the image with you, because everything I am about to speak over you is going to be spoken to the version of you that is standing in front of that door. Let me take a breath with you now, because what I am about to do is different from everything that has come before in this message, and I want both of us to be present for it. This is the sealing. This is the closing. This is the part I was sent to deliver, and the part you were sent to receive. Let me start simply. I am grateful to whatever ordered the path that brought you to this exact message at this exact hour. I am grateful for whatever silent work has been moving in your life for years that shaped you into the version of you that could stay present through this whole message without turning away. I am grateful and I am settled because I have done what I was asked to do. And now the rest belongs to you and the one who made you. I want to acknowledge, before I speak the declaration, everything that was carried to get here. The source sees every tear that fell in rooms nobody else was in. The source sees every prayer that went up when you had nothing left but habit. The source sees every year that you kept showing up to the altar when the altar felt empty. The source sees every version of yourself that you let die so that the real one could live. Every piece of it was witnessed. None of it was wasted. None of it is forgotten. And the record that heaven has kept of everything you thought nobody saw is being opened in this hour, and the contents of that record are about to be spoken back to you in the form of the life you were always meant to live. Now, I want to speak a calling forward for every connection that is meant for the next season of your life. I call it forward. For every divine alignment that has been waiting for you to be ready, I call it forward. For every door that has been holding its position, patient, for the right moment, I call it forward. For every conversation that is meant to happen in these 3 days, every confirmation that is meant to arrive, every piece of clarity that has been waiting in the wings, I call it forward. Come now, find the one I am speaking over. Arrive on the schedule that was written before time began. You are welcome here. Her embrace has been waiting for you. His embrace has been waiting for you. Destiny's embrace has always been waiting. Come now. And now the release. I want you to picture in your chest every weight you have been carrying that does not belong to you anymore. The ones you have been holding out of habit. The ones you have been holding out of guilt. The ones that were given to you by other people and that you never agreed to carry but have been carrying anyway. Picture them all gathered, not scattered, but gathered into one specific weight in the center of your ribs. Feel how long it has been there. Feel how heavy it is. Feel how tired your whole body has been from the holding of it. And now, with me, release it. Every season that has already done its work in you, and that is asking permission to be over now, I release it. Every identity you outgrew years ago, but have been wearing out of loyalty to people who cannot yet see who you have become, I release it. Every prayer you have been repeating out of fear instead of faith, every version of the prayer that was built out of anxiety rather than trust, I release it. Every timeline you were comparing yourself to, every calendar you were supposed to be ahead of, every expectation you inherited from people who did not know the path you were walking, I release it. Every story about why the weight was proof that something was wrong with you, I release it. Feel the weight go, not gradually, now. The grip is loosening, the weight is dissolving. The center of your chest, which has been tight for longer than you can remember, is softening. Nothing is replacing the weight yet. That is on purpose. The space is being made, the space is being held, the space is for what is coming. Now, the declaration. I am going to speak a word over you that I believe the Father placed in me specifically for this moment. I want you to receive it the way you would receive a gift handed to you across a table by someone you trust. Do not argue with it. Do not deflect it. Do not try to figure out whether you deserve it. Just open your hands and receive what is being placed in them. Chosen one, hear me. You are appointed. You are anointed. And you are about to arrive. Let me say it again, so that it lands deeper. You are appointed. The years that looked like coincidence were assignments. The placements you did not understand were appointments. You did not end up in your life by accident. You were positioned. Every room you walked into, even the ones you hated, even the ones that nearly broke you, was a room you were placed in for reasons that are about to become clear. You were appointed. You are anointed. The weight you carried through the wilderness was not weight, it was oil. It was soaking into you in ways that looked like pain from the outside, but were actually preparation. Every year that felt like being emptied was a year of being filled with something you did not have language for. The anointing is on you, and it has been on you for longer than you realized, and the 3 days ahead are the hinge on which that anointing becomes visible for the first time. You are anointed, and you are about to arrive. Not might arrive, not possibly arrive, about to arrive. The door is moving in its frame. The key is in your hand. The ground beneath you is warming, even where it still looks frozen. What has been hidden is about to be revealed. What has been delayed is about to be delivered. What has been whispered is about to be shouted. You are about to arrive. Spring is not coming, chosen one. Spring arrived the moment you said yes to this message. The rest is just the visible world catching up with what has already been decided. Now, sit in this frequency. Do not rush out of it. Do not move. Do not reach for your phone. Do not speak. Just breathe inside what I just spoke over you for the next minute and let it land. I will be quiet with you. Now, slowly, let your breath return to normal. Let your awareness come back to the room you are in. Let the words I spoke settle into a place in your chest where they will stay long after this message ends. It is sealed. Before I let you go, I need to say a few more things, and I am going to say them in a quieter register than the declaration, because the peak has passed, and now we are settling. If what I just spoke landed on you, if something in the declaration reached a place in you that nothing else has reached in a long time, I want you to do one small thing. Not for me. For the part of you that just received, go to the comments below and type the words, I am ready. That is all. 3 words. I am ready. And the reason I am asking is not because the typing matters to any metric. The typing matters to you. When you type something you have received, your body commits to it. Your spirit seals it. The declaration stops being something that happened to you and starts being something that is now part of you. So if the declaration landed, tell me with 3 words, I am ready. And while you are there in the comments, if this message reached you in a way that you know was not coincidence, I want to ask you to do something else. There is someone in your life who has been quietly giving up on a promise they made to themselves a long time ago. You know who I am talking about. You might even be thinking about them right now. They have been too tired to keep hoping, and they have stopped saying the prayer out loud because saying it out loud started to feel like it was making it worse. Send this message to them, not with a long note. Just send it. You do not have to explain. The message will do its own work. But do not let them miss this. Because what I just spoke over you was also spoken over them, and they need to hear it from a voice other than their own, the way you just heard it from a voice other than your own. Share this, pass it on. You are one of the ways heaven reaches the ones it is looking for. And if this channel has been a place where your spirit keeps getting fed, stay connected to it. Something is continuing past these 3 days. There is going to be more. And when the next word arrives, I want it to find you already in the room. So make sure you are where the next message can reach you. And if, through this whole message, the tool I described kept returning to you, and your spirit has been telling you that the link in the description is meant for your hands, listen to your spirit. Do not argue with it. It was placed there for this exact moment. The door was always going to be there. It is still there. Walk through it if you feel led. It was put in front of you on purpose. Now, I want to say one last thing before I close, and I want you to really hear it. This message was never really about 3 days. It was about the you who walked into them. The version of you that has been forming through years of silence. The version of you that kept showing up when there was no reason to. The version of you that was peeled and hollowed and sharpened in places nobody saw. That version is the one who gets to walk through the door. The dates on the calendar are just the pressure plate that opens the hinge. The real event is you. The real miracle is you. The real arrival, the one heaven has been orchestrating this entire time, is not what is coming to you. It is who is coming to meet it. You. The version of you that was always going to exist if you stayed. And you stayed. That is the whole story. That is the entire reason this message reached you. Not to tell you about the window, to welcome the you who has finally become the one the window was built for. Go now, chosen one. The earth is remembering, and so are you. It is sealed.